What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 162 of the TASTYFLIX, our weekly podcast where we talk about random things in gaming. My name's Seth, and joining me today, of course, is Chevy to my left, on your right, and I hope you're doing well.
Doing pretty good.
Before we jump into everything that we typically jump into, which includes State of Play, if you're here for that only, make sure to skip into the episode. I'll have it chaptered, so you can just jump right to that if you're only watching for that. Talking about what we've been playing, and then also it's the first TASTYCast of the month already. It's the 10th technically right now, so it's a little late, but we'll be talking about game releases. I want to let you guys know that we have finally, some of you guys already know about this, especially if you're in the Discord, but I've been talking about launching a separate channel for movies, anime, and TV content, which I used to call TASTYFLIX on this channel, which is now TASTYFLIX as a separate channel. So if you guys are interested in any of that, any more content from us, particularly that has to do with anime, movies, all that kind of stuff, make sure to go over to the TASTYFLIX YouTube channel and subscribe. We already have 4 episodes out right now, all reviews of Demon Slayer, which we plan on going through the first season at the very least and reviewing every single episode. I also plan on doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser trailer reaction. I have not watched that yet, so if you want to see my reaction on that, go check that out. Once that gets up, I'll be doing that pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm also going to see The Batman this weekend, so I'll be doing a review of that as well. So you guys know that I'm committed to putting out videos on TASTYFLIX, and yeah, so go check that out. I will have a link in the comments. YouTube's weird. If you haven't been on for a while, like if you've just started uploading videos, they don't give you a dedicated URL until you've kind of like proven you're real. So I'm just gonna comment from TASTYFLIX, and you guys can click and subscribe from there. We got 10 subscribers though, dude. We're growing quick. Also, more views on these videos than I had in like the first 2 years on this channel.
True.
So that's cool. It's cool to see. Yeah, but it's gonna be a lot of fun over there. So if you are into movies, anime, all stuff, like I said, check that out. And we're definitely open to recommendations. So if there's something you want us to watch, a movie, a TV show, an anime series, or anime movie, I would love to watch some anime movies, like some of the standalone movies that have come out over the years.
I could probably think of a couple.
Yeah.
Could also revisit some that we've seen in the past.
Oh, I definitely plan on revisiting some stuff. I would like to review Berserk, among a lot of things. So anyway, yeah, so go check out TASTYFLIX, and yeah, an extension of the TLG network. All right, so before we jump into what we've been playing, and this is going to be a big TASTYCast because we got to talk. We haven't talked about Elden Ring since it came out. We've just been playing it, and we didn't talk about Forbidden West, and you know, Gran Turismo's been out for a little bit, so I feel like we get a pass on that. We're going to be talking about that in a sec, but we got to jump into game releases. Well, that is TASTYFLIX. Go check out TASTYFLIX. Subscribe to it. Yeah, so we're going to jump into game releases of March. We're in March, guys, in case you don't know. And we're going to read through all the games coming out this month. We're not out of the woods yet. There's plenty of games coming out this month as well. And we're going to talk about our hype of these games and not hype for anything that particularly we feel like we don't want, for sure. Maybe Chevy will feel that towards Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, since you seem so completely anti-Borderlands. Not your fault, their fault. They did this to you. You're a victim. All right. So yeah, let's just jump into this. What is March TBA?
To be announced.
Yeah, it's just weird that it's at the top. I figured it'd be at the bottom. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So this is via thegamer.com, and I went here because their list is like really clean and straightforward. There's some ads, which sucks, but people got to make money, I guess. So let's jump into this. March 1st, we got Far Changing Tides on Switch. Then also on March 1st, we got Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous on PS4 and Xbox One. March 3rd, Babylon's Fall came out on PS4, PS5, and PC. March 4th, we got Gran Turismo 7 on PS4 and PS5. And then also on March 4th, we got Triangle Strategy, which came out on Switch. March 10th, so today, Submerged Hidden Depths has come out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. March 10th as well, Chocobo GP on Switch. March 11th, we got WWE 2K22 coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Then on March March 16th, we got Tunic on Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. March 17th, we got Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, PS4, Switch, and PC. March 18th, we got Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. March 22nd, we got Rune Factory 5 coming out on Switch. Then on March 25th, we got Ghostwire Tokyo coming out on PS5 and PC. Also on the 25th, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Then on also the 25th, we got Kirby and the Forgotten Land on Switch. March 31st, we got Starship Troopers Terran Command, I don't know, on PC. Everyone's super hyped for that. And then finally, we have on March 31st, Weird West coming out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC. Chevy, what games have you already picked up and what games are calling to you?
I haven't technically bought anything yet this month.
Fucking lucky, dude.
Emphasizing the yet because there are at least 3 titles on this list for me. So I do have a vague interest in Babylon's Fall. Upon reading Steam reviews, a lot of the issues I'm seeing seem to be that they threw in what you would consider, I guess, like mobile or free to play game like formats into a pay to play game. So I need to watch some stuff on it because I do think some people get a little crazy on things when it comes to.
That's where I'm at on it because I am. If there's a demo, I'd like to try it.
Well, I heard it plays pretty much like Nier.
But I have heard it looks horrible, and I've seen video, and I do think it doesn't look that great. But that isn't as a guy who really likes graphics, I also don't think they're the most important thing. So if the game's fun, the game's fun. I'm also willing to overlook certain things. So. And also, a lot of the shit talk I see about Babylon's Fall is from people on Xbox using it as a thing like it's a PlayStation exclusive. So that's also stupid. But
yeah,
I've also heard some pretty legit criticisms of it. So I'd be curious to check it out.
Sure,
but I don't want to just buy it outright without knowing.
Yeah, I just with having basically like a 50-50 on Steam, and then reading the negatives. They're all kind of just regurgitating the same thing. So that does sound more of a preferential thing. But again, I'm not rushing out to necessarily buy it. I wasn't super hyped for it to begin with. Just curious. Triangle Strategy I'd like to pick up. Excuse me. I know when the demo came out, I had heard that it played really well, but it was very like dialogue heavy. So if you're not really into that, I could see that being a pass. I need to see some more stuff on it, but I am interested in picking that up for sure. Chocobo GP is the same thing for me. I'd like to pick that up as well. I just want to make sure before I buy it that it's not just like bad. Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, played the first and second beta. Second beta. Played the second beta. And had a lot of fun with it. Definitely picking it up. I thought that was PS5 only for some reason. So I'm a little confused on that. Not that I'm complaining. I'm glad everyone gets to play it. But
yeah, if I mean, this is wrong. That's the gamer's fault. But yeah, I didn't even think about it. I thought it was coming out for sure on PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
But according to this, it's on everything except for Switch.
I guess I need to evaluate what I'm buying it on at that point.
I was planning on buying it on PlayStation, but
I was also thinking of buying that as a PS5 game because that's what I thought it was coming out on only.
Yeah,
so
I played 5 on there too. Also, on that note, something got spoiled for me from the State of Play today. There is a demo for Stranger Paradise out right now.
Oh, cool.
So, and I spoiled that for you as well. But I'm just letting people know if you're kind of curious about the game. Apparently, there's a demo out, so check it out.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm bringing it up. It's because I feel like you should check it out.
I've always heard Rune Factory was a fun series. I've never touched them. So
fun enough to make 4 of them before this.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's Natsume, so the Harvest Moon people. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
But yeah, I say I'd check it out, but honestly, I have too much to play right now, so that's probably gonna get passed on. Ghostwire Tokyo. I originally was gonna pass on this game, but after the last video that you watched, and then I watched that episode,
it's kind of crazy to change your mind.
I'm actually kind of curious to pick it up now. So
Yeah, I was already sold, and then I got super sold. And then you're like, I'm like, I was talking to you about it, and you're like, I might pick that up. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
It is first person, so probably buy it on PC.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna pick it up on too.
And Kirby looks ridiculous, but it'll probably be fun. I don't know if I'll buy it, but it looks interesting. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah. Babylon's Fall. I need to look up some stuff on it. I'm also not in a rush to play other games right now because I'm playing like 3 games a lot, but which we'll talk about in a sec. But I am curious about it. It doesn't make sense to me that Platinum Games put out something that would be horrendous. So maybe it is though. Maybe they're working on other things and couldn't put the time into it. That's fine. Whatever. I can deal with it not being great. Although the meme of it being one of the 4 horsemen of Square Enix's Apocalypse, I think it's kind of interesting with the Quiet Man and 2 other games. I forgot what they were. So yeah, a lot of people are pretty upset with it, but whatever. I already bought Gran Turismo 7. I will talk about my experience with it. Triangle Strategy I am curious about. I need to look up some stuff, but I've heard some pretty good things already. So that's pretty much all I need to hear really, because I was already interested in it visually. Chocobo GP, I will probably just pick up, but I should probably watch a review on it. The video I saw before of it, the footage, looked cool, looked fun. Doesn't look like something I'm going to sink like a shitload of time into, but I like Chocobos. I like GP. I think it looks fun. Let's see. Stranger Paradise I'm 100% buying. After the last beta that we played, the time demo, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually really looking forward to playing it. Although playing Elden Ring, I'm like, can it be as good as Elden Ring? And I don't expect it to be. But that was not a mentality I had before Elden Ring came out. But now I'm like, any Souls-like game, can they stack up? I don't know.
Fortunately, it's like it leans way hard into the RPG side.
Yeah, I'm only half joking, but because it does. It's not just a Soulsborne game, and still got a lot of love for Neo. But yeah, definitely picking that up 100%. I can't wait to play it. Also, can't wait to play Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm very hyped for this. This year, man, fucking. I know we were joking early on about like all these games that come out at once or whatever. But like there are so many good games coming out all at once. Like this year's really fucking making up for the last 2 years so far in just the games I've played already. So that there's games I'm like legit looking forward to coming out in like a week or two. Really fucking cool. But yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo is looking really fucking dope. I am gonna pick up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, probably play with Sarah. I know she's interested in that as well. So, and I'm not completely burnt out on Borderlands. Hopefully they can do something to make it more exciting than Borderlands 3. I don't think they're gonna, but it's got loot, it's got leveling, so I'm not gonna be bored playing it. And then I am interested in Weird West. I'll wait for reviews, but that's been a game that's piqued my interest for a while. Like I said, I'm not super hyped on it, but it looks cool. So I got a lot of games to buy this month. And then hopefully it slows down.
Yeah. I got trips to pay for soon. So
yeah, same. Yeah. I got 2 things coming up this year that I need to have money for. But whatever, man. Fucking gotta enjoy my life. I'll find a way to do it. Yeah, so that's pretty much where I stand when it comes to everything. I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm curious what the Starship Troopers game is. It's so weird to me that they keep just popping out these games when they can't even establish, like, they were the movie that came out a long time ago, people love, and after that, like, it's just like they keep popping Starship Trooper things out. I'm like, you want to try and like reinvigorate something from that, or are you just going to keep like milking that? It's so weird to me as a brand. Kirby, if I'm being honest with myself, I'm most likely not going to pick it up, but it looked pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I don't know anything about Rune Factory. I'm sure it's fun. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
I need fucking a couple more hours in every day. That's what I need.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, let us know in the comments, what games are you guys picking up this month? What games have you already picked up this month? What games are you looking forward to picking up at any time this year? Are you excited for something in particular? Have you tried out Stranger Paradise? Are you looking forward to Ghostwire Tokyo? I know plenty of people who are stoked about Tiny Tina's Wonderland, so are you one of them? And what's a game on here that maybe we didn't mention that you're like, wait, hold up. This game actually is pretty cool looking. You should look into it. Let me know in the comments below. All right, we should jump into what we've been playing. My list is not that big because I've been playing like one game. and some other games on the side. So let's jump in, and if there's a game that we're both playing, let's just discuss it. So the games I can't talk about is Humankind, and that's our game of the month that was randomly picked.
Also played that.
It is a Civ-like game, very close to Civ, has some differences, but it's pretty much Civ. And we're going to talk about that at the end of the month, but I have played that. Being a bit personal here for a second, and also explains why this episode's been delayed a bit. I've had like a pinched nerve for like a week and a half, and it's been excruciating and really hard to fucking sleep. And every time I go to play Humankind, it's when I can't sleep because of it. So I'm in pain and I'm tired. And so it's not been the best way to try and experience a game. So I am planning on like actually sitting down and like playing it now that I'm starting to feel better. But yeah, that's been my experience with Humankind so far, is me regretting being part of it with all this pain. Played Ghost Runner.
Same.
We're gonna talk about that on Plus Club. So I can't talk about it here, but come back for that. I have plenty to say about it. I also played Team Sonic Racing.
Same.
So we'll talk about that as well on Plus Club. And then the only things I haven't played is Ark Survival Evolved. Technically, I started it up and I looked into how servers work, and that's it.
Tethering.
Yeah. And then Ghost of Tsushima Legends, I'm waiting until I can schedule a day to play it with at least 3 other people, because I would like to do raid content. When we were playing it, a shitload of it back when it first came out, we did the first of 3 parts of the raid. And spoiler, it was pretty fucking cool. So I am looking forward to playing more of it. Also, since we've last played, they've added content. So that'll be cool to talk about as well.
Yeah.
All right, so the 3 games I can't talk about. I'll talk about the one that you can't talk about first, just to get that knocked out. Gran Turismo 7. I picked up Gran Turismo 7 because, of course, I did. I'm a fucking huge Gran Turismo fan. Been waiting for this for years, literally years, like a mainline Gran Turismo. And I'm happy to say I fucking love it. It's fantastic. It looks beautiful. It's so weird to see the conversation on the graphics on that game, because, like, when you play it, when you take like a screenshot of movement and blur effects and stuff like that while things are in motion, it's one thing. But when you're playing that game, there is not a racing game that looks as photorealistic, when that game does look photorealistic, as Gran Turismo. And that's something they've always strived for since the original Gran Turismo. I still remember when Gran Turismo 2 came out on PlayStation, I was like, these graphics are fucking amazing. They look real. And then 3 came out, I'm like, these graphics look amazing. They look real. 4 came out. 4's like the best. I was like, these graphics are amazing. They look real. And on and so on and so on. So yeah, when this game is looking its best, it's phenomenal looking. People also dwell on like the environments, which I think look nice, but the car models are fucking insane. Sadly, ray tracing is only on replays and the photo modes and stuff, and it looks amazing. But when you play, it does not have ray tracing on. Some people are pretending like that's like taken away from the graphics. I'm like, no, it's taken away from the lighting and the reflections. That's it. The car models are the same. But when you look at the details of every fucking inch of these cars, they're so insanely detailed. It's like beautiful. And the physics on these cars, this is the big thing for me. People talk about a bunch of things when it comes to Gran Turismo. For me, it's the physics. It's not just like every car has the same physics, but just different speeds and stuff. Like, you can feel the weight of your car around corners, and it adds to the feeling of hitting that apex and gliding around a corner perfectly. But also visually seeing it when you're driving behind somebody and seeing their car actually moving on the suspension and everything. It's I fucking love it. The soundtrack is Gran Turismo. I'll put it that way. If you like prior Gran Turismo games, music, you're going to be right at home here. If you got just a weird relationship with it like I do, you're going to be right at home here. If you hated it, you're not going to be right at home here. I was think it's funny that Deki Casho is in it again, which is no big surprise. He's been in them ever since I think Gran Turismo 3, but like all of his songs from every Gran Turismo is in this one, so they're just like doubling down on him, which I think is really funny. I also loved like the do 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 like kind of like jazzy like piano music and stuff that plays when you're tuning your car and stuff.
I was gonna say store music.
Yeah, pretty much, or like elevator music. It's so good. But yeah, racing's fantastic. Cars feel really good. They all feel like they got their own characteristics. They feel individual. Every car I drive feels like a completely different vehicle, and not, like I said, not just in acceleration and top speed and braking. I mean, you can dictate all that with tuning, but they all just, you can like feel the shape of the car when you drive them. And it's really fucking cool. The races are great. The variety's great. Locations are awesome. Variety of cars is great as well. The cafe is really interesting because it gives you objectives to do. It sets you up with these little missions to complete, and then it rewards you with cars. I know a lot of people are completing the cafe, and they're viewing it like a campaign, and so they're like, I'm done. What do I do now? And it's like, you do what you always did in Gran Turismo. You race, you make money, and you buy cars. That's what Gran Turismo was before they added the cafe. The cafe just kind of adds some structure, probably, to keep it like modern and kind of give people focus. But I wasn't expecting to just keep doing the cafe forever. But they might add content later, so I don't know. But it's kind of neat. You go to this cafe, they give you these little menus, and they have objectives. You finish them, you get new cars for it. They have people who visit the cafe, and they'll talk about your car and the history of it. And so, like, that's another thing that's really cool about Gran Turismo 7 is like this game is like here for car fans, but also trying to make people car fans. Like, everything in the game is trying to teach you everything you need to know about cars, or fucking jerk you off about cars. Like, hey, these cars are real fucking sick, huh? And you're like, yeah. Or you're like, or it's like, hey, you don't know much about cars? This is what this kind of car is. And they were popularized in the 70s and all this stuff. Like, there's a lot of info in this game that's really really neat. They put a lot of work into it. You can just tell the game was made by passionate people who give a fuck, like really love cars. This game's not just like a racing game to be like a fun, fast racing game. It's like car nerds made it. You can make that argument about, I guess, any racing game, but like this one just really feels like it, more so than any other Gran Turismo. I've also been using, at first I was using the DualSense, which feels great. The controller has all sorts of vibrations. You can feel all sorts of parts of your car doing things. The triggers, are affected by what your car is doing as well. Really cool. But I fucking unburied and hooked up my my Logitech racing wheel with like the steer resistance and shit. And that's, if you can do it, that's the way to play. If you got a steering wheel. Some like arcade racers, I don't like using my wheel because it's designed to have like all this like torque and resistance when you're driving. And in a game that's arcadey, I almost feel like I'm oversteering because I'm turning it barely and I'm getting so much like turn. And I'm sure you can adjust it. But this game, as soon as I plugged it in, it's just like every car just feels super fucking accurate. Like it's so fucking nice feeling. Though with the pinched nerve, it was really aggravating my left shoulder when the car was like fighting me and shit. Yeah. I go and do a couple races. I was like, I gotta turn the torque down a little bit, which is nice because they have those options. One last thing though, if you need a middle ground, if you're like, I would like to play with a wheel, but I don't want to buy one or can't afford one or whatever reason you don't have one or don't want to get one, the game offers in the settings a gyro steering. I don't know if this is on everything, but on the PS5 at the very least. And you're able to hold your controller like a wheel, and you're able to steer like this by turning it. And the thing that's really neat about it is this isn't the Switch. This isn't the Wii, the Wii U. This is a modern day next gen console with modern day gyroscopic sensors, and this thing is fucking tight. Like, you can legit play this game and get the same sensation of small adjustments to your steering with just the controller. It actually like really fucking impressed me, and you still get all the cool sensations in the controller. So it's kind of a cool middle ground, especially if you're playing like split screen and one of you had a wheel and the other one wanted a wheel. It gives you that option. I definitely endorse it. Like you could view it as gimmicky, but it doesn't feel gimmicky. It feels really good. They did a really good job with it. And then I haven't done anything online yet, But the last thing I want to shout out with Gran Turismo is its photo mode. I have one complaint about it, but its photo mode is fucking awesome. There's like 2,500 locations. And luckily you can filter it by country, location, all that stuff. So, I looked up Washington. It's all Seattle. Which
Would be.
Yeah, I was like, we got like fucking Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens,
National Rainforest.
We have rainforest. We have all sorts of really cool fucking things in Washington. And it's cool. It's dirty, but it's cool. I like Seattle. But anyway, Japan though, huge fucking roster of locations, and they're all fucking cool.
Games made in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I looked at the Seattle page and it was like 6 locations, which is cool. But then I looked at the Japan one and I was just like scrolling down. I'm like, well, I guess they're there.
Yeah.
You just walk outside and start taking pictures. And so you could tell somebody went around and took like a high res camera, probably a fucking Sony A7R4. I got one too. That's really nice. Went around, took pictures in real life of these locations, and then they digitally made them kind of 3D. Certain things in the image, like railing that's in the foreground, they made it so the car can be behind it. But these are real pictures. But that's neat because it shows just how good these car models are. Because when you put them with real backgrounds, they look amazing. Especially with the ray tracing, the soft lighting, and the reflections of these pictures. The photos you can get from this are insane looking. And even when you pause when racing and take a picture, it adds the ray tracing. And it's just like fucking amazing. If they can like unlock some cores on the PS5 to get the ray tracing to happen while you're racing, they'd be crazy. Because like it's insane looking. It's like really, really fucking, like I look at it, I'm like, that's so close to real. It's so close. Like I'm not even, once they get real graphics, realistic looking graphics, I'm not gonna be impressed anymore. Because I'm like, we've been close for a while, man. Like fucking, honestly, the Uncanny Valley, fucking, you'll see like movements that could only be in a video game, and that's when you can tell like it's a video game then. But like,
I don't really experience that.
What?
That feeling, I guess, of like the Uncanny Valley or whatever. So, because I know it creeps some people out.
Oh, I don't know about feeling it, but as like a almost being real but not, fucking, it's there. I have no feelings from it, but it's really fucking neat. My only complaint about the photography mode, and if you guys know a way around this, let me know. I doubt there is though. It's got really good options. It actually asks you when you go to do it. It's like, do you know anything about photography? And I was so happy to be like, yes. And it's like, oh, great. And like I'm looking at aperture, and it's got all this stuff, shutter speed and stuff. I'm like, this is fucking dope. Like it's not even like simplified stuff. It's like here's your f stops, here's your fucking shutter speed and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, I can actually like get into this. That's fucking dope. But you can't walk around on the scene, so you're stuck on a tripod. It's because they took real pictures, so they're not gonna like walk around a flat plane that's made 3D. But sometimes I wish I could like move around the car a little bit, or one of the saying in photography, your best zoom is your feet. Like you walk towards your subject, and so sometimes you can zoom in and out. But then if you're at a certain focal length and a certain millimeter of lens, you still want to walk forward to get the shot, and you can't do it. So it kind of drives me nuts. But outside of that, it is very cool to show off your cars. So anyway, Gran Turismo 7 is awesome. I'm hearing some people giving some complaints about a couple things like microtransactions and shit. I have not experienced any wall based off of microtransactions. I've been able to buy every car and save up for cars just fine. So if I run into that, I will be honest about it, but I haven't seen it yet. So yeah, hopefully it's nothing too bad, but microtransactions is one of the complaints, and lack of campaign, which I don't think I'll ever be able to identify with. So, but maybe I'll finish the cafe and be like, where the fuck's the content? I
feel
don't
like
know.
anytime a game is missing a campaign, that's a complaint people have, though. So.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I get, but within context.
Yeah.
I was literally just expecting to race, make money, and buy new cars in this. So,
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where my brain would be.
yeah, that's what Gran Turismo's always been. So, But the cafe is cool, and I enjoy the structure, and I can just go race if I want or do cafe objectives. And then there's the licensing, which is another thing I keep hearing complaints about, but I haven't really got the details on that, so I don't know what the fuck's going with that.
Like, they don't want to do it? Because that's also a staple.
Something like it's useless to get a license past a certain point. I don't know. I haven't experienced that yet. So, but yeah, been really enjoying Gran Turismo 7, and it's really good. If you are even slightly interested in picking up Gran Turismo 7, I would recommend it for sure. Just understand that you're playing a sim racer, although it does have a lot of like new player friendly stuff. You can turn the AI to like easy, medium, hard, and you can turn on like driving assists, similar to like Forza, that will brake for you. That's fucking wild to me. But that's, I mean, there's some people out there who maybe might be in situations where they can't fully utilize a controller or whatever too. So
accessibility is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was just thinking about like if you just did that because you don't want to hit brake on your own. I feel like you're playing the wrong game, possibly. But you bought it. You play how you want, as long as you're not doing that online. Yeah. So let's move over to Forza Horizon Forbidden West. That's the fucking game. I'm thinking about cars. Played Horizon Forbidden West since it came out. I got about halfway through it. I'm going to be vague with stuff because I don't know where anybody's at, where you're at, anything like that. But
I have started.
If you know the map, I'm a little past the middle of the map moving forward. And story-wise, I will just say I am a couple hours past the base. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then play the game and you will know what I'm talking about. Man, it's weird to think about Forbidden West because it was completely eclipsed by Elden Ring. It came out, I was playing it, and I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, this game, and I'll still say it. I'm not going to talk about, like, retroactive like that. Forbidden West is a AAA fucking game.
Yes.
It is beautiful. Everything about it. Anybody who's worried about this game being on PS4 and PS5, you don't worry about it. The PS5 version is not running on the PS4 version. It's impossible. But the game runs on PS4, which is amazing. They really made a good engine here. Although I did run into the stuttering thing that happened to a bunch of people, and then people were saying they're lying. I'm like, no, it happened to me, so it's real. But I can get into that. So yeah, the game is amazing. I think it's one of the best looking games that exists. It's phenomenal looking. It plays buttery smooth, dude. It's such a pleasure to fucking play that game. Everything just flows well. The melee combat is like so much better than it was in the first game. The amount of weapons is fucking insane. The world is awesome to explore, and the hologram shield parachute thing, I forgot the name of it, is a really cool addition. It really helps with running around and just kind of hopping off cliffs and stuff like that. It feels like a good addition to the whole game. A lot of the world puzzles are really neat. I like the ruins they have to kind of like explore. You always look at it and you're like, that small rundown building is like an exploration puzzle, but then you explore and you're like, whoa, there's like a whole thing here. That's really cool. And yeah, battling all the robot dinosaurs and animals is a blast. It's better than the first game in that regard. Everything in this game is better. When people talk about NPCs in games not looking good, this game begs to differ. I look at this game, I'm like, nobody's doing this. The fucking NPCs, all of them, their character models are better looking than a lot of games' main characters. It's insane. I was like thinking when I was playing, I was like, what if an open world game like an Elder Scrolls or something, or like a Mass Effect or something that had like all these like deep choices in dialogue looked this good? It would be so fucking crazy. And that's the one thing this game's missing, is some kind of like deeper, expansive like dialogue system. But it's not that kind of game. But I'm looking at these character models. I'm like, dude, they put so much work into these characters, the way they look, and the voice acting is phenomenal as well. So that's been really cool. Let's see. Story's pretty good so far. I've heard a lot of people raving about it, but they always talk about towards the end. So I think I need to get to some kind of revelation. I got to a point where I'm introduced to some some characters. I'll put it that way. Who definitely feel like they're changing the pace of what the last game was doing story wise, and I want to know more about them. Yeah, upgrades and hunting is a lot of fun. I was playing for a while, and then I started getting to the point where I felt like a lot of enemies were getting really hard. And so I was like, I should probably just like stop and go start like upgrading all my gear. And the game has a really cool system where like if you're using any gear and you want to get the next upgrade for it, you can track that as a mission, and it'll tell you the ingredients you need or the parts and where to get them on the map. So you can turn every single item in the game into its own side quest, which I think is really fucking nice. I'd like to see more games do that. And then lastly, the only complaint I have on the game, and it's a horrible complaint that I wish I didn't have. Aloy is kind of annoying to me in the game. She was kind of annoying in the first game, but not really, not too bad. But in this, her dialogue is just so one note constantly, and it becomes. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not like angry when I play the game, but like she's like the least likable character out of all the characters in the game, which is such a weird thing for me to experience because I'm like, this game, everything about it's fantastic, and I like the things that she's doing, but when she talks, I'm like, you could have worded that better than that. Like everything's always so like fucking I don't know how to word it. It's like always trying to one up everything everyone else says nonstop. And the constant repetition of like, only I can save the world, only I can save the world. And people are like, I want to help you. No, only I can do this, like constantly. And then telling people like, you'll never be able to do that. I have to take care of this. And it's like, I get you're the hero, but like, I can't think of any hero, any like big famous hero from any game ever talking like this. I've never heard any of them talk like this. So it's a little off-putting, but I can overlook it. It's not a big deal. It's just I feel like kind of lazy in the writing department. The performance is good, so I have to give Ashley Birch credit. She's been doing voice acting for a while now, and I think she's done good on everything that she's done. I think the writing for Aloy is a little too one note, but everyone else is really good too, or not too, just in general. Like I said, the NPCs like are all intriguing. I'll talk to people, although that's another complaint I have is like some of the NPCs, the way they talk, they seem like, I'm like, how are you surviving in this world? Because they seem like they're like, they don't understand anything. Like there's like towards the beginning of the game, this guy's like, I'm just trying to make food, but everybody just makes fun of me and makes me feel bad. And she's like, you need self-confidence. He's like, I do? And she's like, yeah. And then like when he beat the fucking mission, she's like, remember, self-confidence. He's like, thanks. And I'm like, what's that guy, a child? Like how is he alive in this world? And you run into situations like that pretty often where people just seem like they don't know what the fuck's happening. And I'm like, how is everyone is so incompetent? But then there's other side characters I think are well done. So yeah, I think there's just a really strong push to make Aloy like heroic in a lazy way. It could be written better. But other than that, everything else about the game is absolutely stellar. And then lastly, I just want to touch on, they've probably patched it by now. I know it has to be some kind of thing that could be patched easily because my game runs buttery smooth 99.9% of the time. But there's two instances, and I have footage of it in case somebody doesn't believe me. I doubt that, though, where I encountered unplayable lag. Lag I haven't seen in a long time on anything. It would start stuttering, and it was like I was in the middle of fighting a boss at one point when it happened, and it actually helped me because it was like I was playing in slow-mo.
Oh.
My frames were like skipping so hard that like I could just tell everything I was about to do. And I was like, whoa. But I was like, I'm not playing the game like this.
Right.
And I restarted the game, and it happened again. And then I restarted my PS5, and I've never seen it again. I just want to bring that up because I saw a lot of people kind of like bringing it up like, hey, dude, why is this happening? And people would like accuse them of being like Xbox fans. And I'm like, no, this is like real. Hopefully they fix this because like otherwise the game's great. But it's definitely something like in the code or something because the game runs fine. The same boss I was fighting before all of a sudden decided to lag. And it's really weird. Some people are saying it's only in the performance mode that does that though, which I think is really interesting. And not in the, I forget what it's called, the graphics mode. But I don't know. 'Cause I played it like that at the beginning just to look at it. I was like, whoa. And then I was like, I need the 60 frames per second, dude. Like, fucking, that's really ruined me on everything. I always check the best you can get graphics wise in these games on PS5, but then I go right back to performance mode because the games still look fantastic and they run so smooth, so fucking smooth. I love it. But yeah, I do plan on beating the game. I just have been sidetracked by playing Elden Ring, which is all I've been playing since, which we'll talk about. Thoughts?
Not a lot, to be honest, because I've barely played the game. I started up. I played what I guess you would consider the intro mission to the game, and then the catalyst for your next journey happens, and you talk to a few people before you leave. Essentially, that's as far as I've gotten. So right to that point. So barely played it. But in that time, it does play really well, for sure. Like you said, I do think it looks really good. It's probably one of the best looking games I've seen. I was very impressed playing it, especially playing a game on console. So
Yeah, it's the wild thing. Like to have like a true exclusive on a console and looking at it, and you're going like, that looks better than even like most PC games.
yeah,
Like
it's a really good looking game.
Like Gorilla really went like, we gotta like fucking push this and show off what the PS5 can do.
Well, then even when like NPCs are talking and stuff like that, they look so good. The voice acting is very good, even when talking to some of the NPCs in that spot, because I don't want to talk too much obviously about details. Even just listening to their dialogue was intriguing. I was able to like just sit there and listen to them talk. And that is, obviously in large part to the voice actors, but also that the mocap and all that was done so well that I was able to watch it without really, I don't know what I'm looking for. Anyways, the whole experience is really good in that regard. They did a really good job with making the game still feel like the last game, but just feel better. And I don't know how to put that in words other than it feels familiar but smoother. So I haven't gotten into any of the systems and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to playing more of it, but for similar reasons, I kind of just ended up putting it down. I was playing that in Lost Ark, and I'm not playing either now.
Lost Ark, I forgot about that game.
So no intention to quit playing those games. They're just on pause.
You actually have, and I know you do as well, not that it matters to anybody watching this, but some vacation coming up. And I plan on doing a staycation to kind of tie up some loose ends on any games that I've been playing while working and having these short fucking weekends to just sit down and fucking play these games. So maybe do some streams. But I remember one last thing I want to bring up about this game, and it's like not going to be important to most people, but remember when we watched the trailers and I was saying something was like weird looking about the game visually?
Okay.
It was like good looking, but like kind of like for some reason the background looked weird and the foreground looked off. I realized exactly what the problem is. For me personally, a lot of people probably didn't even notice this, but obviously it's not real bokeh. It's not real focal length. But what they do in the game is when the characters talk to other characters, the background is completely blurred out in most of the shots. There's not a whole lot of depth of field. It's just blurred out. It's like they're standing. It's like the actors are in a green screen room, like they would be in mocap, and then they just added a blurred background in the background. And it's not necessarily a big deal because I know those backgrounds really exist. You get to run around them, but I wish they would have put a little more work into making the background a little less blurred out. It seems like it's borderline close to like if you just had a black background when you did dialogue with the characters. It looks like they're just standing there out in the middle of nowhere. And so not a big deal, but it was nice to finally be able to pinpoint what the hell is weird to me about when I watch those trailers. Because I was like, why does the environments look so weird when it shows the main character who looks amazing? I remember when we watched the trailer, I'm like, her character model looks amazing, but where the fuck's the world at?
Right.
And it's because we're seeing dialogue. And so the backgrounds were all blurred out and shit. So, which I think is an interesting artistic choice. but I wish it was a little more natural. I wish things closer were still in focus and it got slowly out of focus, not just fucking artificially fucking blurred out because it looks like a green screen. So it's kind of weird. But yeah, those are my only two really complaints.
Yeah.
Do you plan on playing more?
At some point.
Yeah, me too. The only thing the game's missing is multiplayer. I want that co-op, baby, and everything. Anything else? All right, speaking of games with the co-op, I've been playing Elden Ring. I'm sure you guys know all about that. You guys have probably been playing it as well, and if you haven't, I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm just going to be straight up real quick. This is definitely one of From Software's best games they ever made, which is really cool to say. I still am a Bloodborne guy, though. Like, fucking, if they made this game, but Bloodborne, I'd be like, this is a perfect game. Because Elden Ring is like the funnest one of these games has felt to me, but Bloodborne's like fucking the coolest. Everything about Bloodborne I just love. The gameplay, the visuals.
I don't like the gameplay
weapons
aspect, but I prefer the slower pace of like the Dark Souls games.
Yeah, I just think it'd be cool to have like urban environments and obviously like outdoor environments, but in like a Bloodborne world that's open world
I
like
love
this.
The aesthetic,
it would
for
be
sure.
so fucking cool. It'd be so fucking cool. But anyway, Elden Ring. Elden Ring is a fucking blast. This game, where Horizon Forbidden West met my expectations. I expected this game to just be like fucking amazing in AAA, and it was. Elden Ring exceeded my expectations. I was like, this is gonna be a solid game. It's From Software. They don't fucking miss. But then I played it, and I was like, holy shit! They fucking that time they took to make this game. This isn't a situation where you're like, where the fuck did the time go? This isn't Battlefield 2042. This is the opposite. You see the fucking time they put into this game. It is packed full of fucking good content. There's some repeated bosses, and they do like vary in ways that, you know, it's not an exact repeat, but it's like the same boss. Maybe there's two now, whatever.
There's like 100 fucking bosses in the game.
But there's so many fucking bosses. And there's so many like original bosses as well. And there's so many fucking locations. And there's so many nooks and crannies that I thought were only going to be in the dungeons of this open world. And they fucking did it in the whole thing. This whole map is so well designed. I fucking love it. The game starts you out in one area. And as soon as you come out of it's so funny. Nobody did the tutorial. Everyone I've talked to didn't do the tutorial right in the beginning. Didn't you
jump down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. I think I was telling you to do that, though.
Well, yeah, because we were trying to get me. Yeah, you were sitting with me to get me ready for co-op. So,
Yeah. Not that you want to figure it out on your own.
I don't play these games. So.
But I was like, oh, you just hop down there and do the tutorial. But I did the tutorial because you walk up to a guy sitting in a chair and he says something about jumping down the depths or whatever. And then there's all these fucking things. And I look down, there's a ledge. I'm like, oh, let's jump down there and see what's down there. It's the tutorial. But then like I've seen so many people going like, I didn't know there was a tutorial in the game.
You know what's funny is
I'm like, that's great. And then I brought it up to people I know and they're like, I didn't do it.
I've watched like 4 to 5 different streamers, this being their first game. And their chat literally was like, go down there. That's the tutorial, go down there. Because they were just beelining for the door. It's like, don't beeline in this game.
So many fucking people are just beelining. And then they're like, the game's hard. I'm like, dude, first off, it's a fucking open world.
Yeah, go explore.
Go any direction, man. And then also, like, it's an RPG. Fucking level up. What are you doing? Like, weird. I don't want to get on that topic.
Yeah, so you can cheese out real bad if you just fucking max your stats out. So.
Oh yeah. But anyway, yeah. As soon as you leave this place, and even in this place, I forgot what they're called, but they're like the locked dungeons. They use the sword keys for.
The gray walls.
Yeah. There's one right in the fucking beginning. I went back and did it. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like this dungeon's dope.
I always forget to go back. Should do that.
It's a neat one. But like you come out, and as soon as you come out, you're just met with these like rolling grassy fields and forest. And right over to the right, there's just a fucking tree sentinel on a golden horse walking around. And as soon as I came out, I'm like, I'm not fighting him.
So I actually think it's really funny because I saw someone on TikTok kind of make a joke about this too, where like you start the game and you get the Souls experience of the fuck you boss, here's the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then immediately afterwards is a second fuck you boss.
Yeah.
With the tree sentinel.
All these games start with some like optional boss, And I saw him, and as soon as I saw the size of him, and he's on a gold horse and shit, I'm like, that guy's not to be fucked with right now. So I waited on it, and luckily I did. I came back later and fought him, and he was pretty challenging even then. But
That motherfucker also adapts to whatever kind of character you are too.
yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, you like just upon leaving, you walk out, you find this church. You have a checkpoint there with their bonfires. I'm going to call everything the souls names. I don't care what the fuck they call it in this. It's all souls. It's Estus. It's flasks.
The grace.
I don't care. But, and then from this church, like, you just fucking set out. You can go out in the woods. There's a fucking cave with some wolves in it. You go up north. There's a fucking dungeon there with its own, every place has its own boss. Go down to the beach that you can't even see from the fucking cliffside. And when you go down there, you just look up and it's just this huge cliffside. And you're on this gigantic beach. And you're like, the scope and scale of this is insane. And this is only the very beginning. You move up a little bit past this area. And you're just like, there's a whole other zone. And then you move up past the lake. And you're like, there's a whole other zone. And then you go past that. And you're like, there's a whole other zone in these mountains. And then there's a whole other zone in this volcano. And there's a whole other zone over fucking in Khalid. Or Caled, or the fuck it's called, which that place sucks. I know the memes. Then you go underground, and there's whole fucking zones underground. Like this game is huge.
I found my first underground zone, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, when I first went down the elevator, I was just going down. I'm like, "This is a big elevator," and then like a minute later, I'm like, "I'm still going down. What's down here?"
Yeah.
And then as I came down, I started seeing like a ceiling to a cave roof, and then I saw like past buildings, and shows like. Oh fuck, dude! This is a zone, dude. This isn't a dungeon.
Yeah,
it's insane, and none of it feels lazy. Not fucking 1 inch. Nothing does. Like the design of the world is so well done, and nothing's like, hey, go over there. Like there's some side quests, and somebody will vaguely tell you there's a person over there. You should go talk to them. There's this guy I've marked on your map. Go kill him. That's kind of rare though. But for the most part, the game is fueled by pure fucking curiosity. It has such interesting design that you look in a direction and you're like, what's that? And you go over there and you find out if I should be here or not. That's pretty much it.
I watched that happen to Chris today. He went to go fight a boss, tried a couple times, like, okay, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I've ran into a couple things where I'm like, I'll be back. I'm not ready for this yet. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm not ready for this. And I beat him. I'm like, whoo.
Yeah.
It's a really fucking good game. Everybody knows this, but it's the culmination of everything that From Software has learned since Demon's Souls. Everything that they've made since then, it's all in this game in certain ways, and it's done really well. I am playing a samurai, but I'm dual wielding katana, some dex based. I got a shell of endurance. I've been putting points into my vigor. Is that the stat for health?
Yes.
Because lately, and I'm like 85 right now, 60 hours into the game, I think. I've been dying more than I was for a while. For a while there, I was kind of walking through a lot of shit, but now I'm like getting killed.
Got caught up.
Yeah, so I've been mostly working on my survivability because my damage is still good. I'll fight bosses and I do chunks of damage on them, but they'll hit me like once, and I'm like almost dead, and they fucking whack me a second time. And there's one dude who like would knock me on my back, and while I'm on my back, he goes boom and hits me a second time and kills me. I'm like, well, I need more health, or more armor. I'm using medium armor because I want the mobility. I try to lean towards light though, so I always trying to get into that area. But so I like to run around, roll and slash and shit. But yeah, I'm still using the sheath ability. I was using, I forget what it's called, but the blood one. But I went back to using the sheath just because I like the aesthetic and I like the ability to have a downward slash and a sideways slash. It also does a shitload of damage, and now I have like properties like fire, cold, all that stuff. So I have like a fire slash I do now. And yeah, dual wielding katanas is awesome because if you're dual wielding the same weapons, I've noticed with a lot of weapons, they have their own combo that does not exist without two of the same weapon. So with two katanas, I'm able to do quick slashes and at the end swing both of them at the same time for a chunk of damage. It sucks dual wielding though because I've been upgrading both weapons, and so I'm using double the resources to level them up. But I do really good damage, so I'm not complaining there. Yeah. Also, regardless of how you feel about how this game should be played, which I just don't have the interest in that conversation. Playing co-op is a blast. Some people might think that kind of cheapens the experience. I've fought every major boss on my own so far, but I have played quite a bit of co-op with you and Sarah for a little bit, and then I played with Sarah, and it's really fucking fun. And my favorite thing about it is oddly enough the closest experience I've had to D&D in a video game like ever.
Oh yeah.
Being able to run around as like a fucking like a shirtless tool wielding like rogue type character, and then having like two different magic users with me that are completely different. One's more of like a cleric assassin that does heal stuff, and the other one's like a full on fucking like nuking fucking sorcerer type character is really neat. There's no games like that really. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's the closest thing to fucking Dragon's Dogma with multiplayer I've ever played as well. So
it's fair.
So yeah, even if you're somebody who's like opposed to the idea of playing with people because you feel like, oh, that just makes the game easier. Two things. First off, one, enjoy yourself, have fun in life, and then secondly, it's worth it. And secondly, this game is aware that co-op is pretty simple to do now, and it scales the bosses. And so, as somebody who fought the bosses on my own and then fought them with people to help them on their run. The boss is almost more difficult when I couldn't tell its aggro as well, and when it had more health and I'm doing less damage. The main bosses, at least, are really good at deciding to change aggro mid-swing, which is something I haven't really seen in like any game ever. It's fucking crazy. Some of the bosses will like just attack somebody and then you hit them and they turn and start attacking. You can read it real easily. But when you're fighting like Margit or something like that, this dude will like cock back and be half swinging and then fucking just swing and hit somebody else. And it's really hard to read that. When you're playing against them on your own, you know every attack's coming at you.
Yeah, unless you're using the a summon or something. Because then there's aggro again. But yeah, I mean, even when I was doing co-op on I'm not going to say the names. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat secretive, even though so many people posting videos about this game. It's impossible to
It's everywhere, dude. Yeah. It's like, not that I want to attribute to Skyrim, because I'm not like the big Skyrim fan, but it is like a phenomenon similar to Skyrim.
Well, after I finish this piece, I got another interesting tidbit I'm going to throw out there. But the boss of the academy, I'll just say that,
Ranella,
doing that co-op, because the spells that they cast like have a delay to them at first. Sometimes I think they were aimed at me or at Chris or at whatever, and all of a sudden like I like make the wrong decision. I was like, blap, I'm getting hit by him, and I was just dead. So I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is interesting for sure that the aggro.
That's a really neat fight. I remember fighting the first part of it for the first. That fight took me 2 tries.
It bugged on me the first time.
Oh, really? Interesting.
It has a co-op bug.
Oh.
The shields won't appear. Makes it impossible.
Interesting.
Yeah. I had to like intentionally die to reset it.
I want to run through that with Sarah, so I'll have to remember that. But the first time I did it, at first I was like kind of confused what's going on in the library. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like people are just throwing shit at me.
Yeah.
And I started noticing the shields, and I started fucking going after them. And I just kind of noticed, I'm like, this is going to be really easy. And I was like, this isn't the boss.
No.
And I'm still fighting her. I'm like, what's next? And then like I finished her off, and I'm like, what are you going to turn into?
Probably the coolest looking places I've seen.
It's neat. But I was like, what are you going to turn into? Because that wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? That was just like, figure this out. That's it. And then fucking the next part starts. And I was like, fuck, here it comes. I knew it. And as soon as the fight started, I'm just looking at him. And just laser right in my face.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to dodge out of it, but I was just going, just taking damage, and I just died. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then on my second try, as soon as I started flanking to the left. A lot of the magic in the game, when they shoot at you, it's delayed just enough that if you're constantly moving, it'll miss you. And I've put a lot of points into my stamina so I can move a lot. But Yeah, the second time around, I was aware she was gonna just blast at me, so I fucking just started running. And then as soon as her summon started showing up, I was like, I'm not fighting you. And I just ran past them and started hitting her.
Yeah, they despawn after a while, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I never even swung at one. As soon as they showed up, I'm like, I'm not fighting two of you. I'm just gonna kill her as quick as I can.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. It is much easier than the one before it, though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
That dude sucks.
Wait, you mean in the same place?
No,
Okay.
the main bosses
Yeah.
of the game or whatever, the most easily accessible one that you do first that people always beeline to and then go, the game's hard. Or I
Well,
guess it's technically
to
after
be
him.
fair, Margit is still, in my opinion, one of the hardest bosses I fought in the game so far.
I don't mean Margaret. I mean Godric. That's what I mean.
Well, I thought he was easy as fuck.
Yeah, but I think she's easier.
Oh yeah, way easier for sure. In fact, after Margit, I was like, all these bosses are really fucking easy.
The only part I didn't like about Godric was the second phase, and that's just because the straight line one that he does would just melt me. But I don't have a lot of hit points, so that's a weakness in my character as well.
I was lucky and just like fucking went nuts on him on a second form. Like I had actually willed him down further than halfway when he went to that phase. And so as soon as it started and I saw him have the stupid fucking puppet on his hand, I just rushed him because I was like, that's a distance move. And I ran up and started fucking wailing on him. And honestly, if I'm being honest, fucking my health was like here though,
Yeah.
and so was his. And I was like, and I just fucking
So fuck
got
it.
summit fever and started fucking swinging. I was like, oh god, and then I got him. I was like, holy shit. So it was really close, but
Yeah, what I ended up having to do on that fight was save my FP flasks. So I just did melee the first half of the fight, and then when the phase switched, I switched to magic finally because I was just burning through my mana too fast in the first phase. So
yeah. For anybody who might think like, oh, so soon everything's easy, not true. Fucking like I said, Margaret, when I first fought him, he was fucking rough.
also the world bosses are pretty rough.
World bosses are pretty rough too, but for anybody who knows him, I've ran into Radon and I haven't beaten him yet.
I've seen his name a lot.
I can see that I'm going to beat him soon. I've almost killed him a couple times now, but yeah, as soon as that fight started, I was like, uh-oh. And then like I get up close to him, I'll keep it vague. And I was just watching his moves and I'm like, I can read your moves, but you don't really stop. And so there's a lot going on. And there's ways to cheese him out, I guess, but I'm looking to do that. One thing about Radon's really neat though. I don't know if anyone else is seeing this or if it's just me, but I'm watching his movements. I'm like, he looks like a mech from Armored Core.
Oh, weird.
He does a lot of like side strafing where he's sliding around you and he's just swinging and shit. And it looks like a fucking mech to me.
Oh, weird.
And I'm like, is that on purpose? Are they telling me Armored Core's inbound? What is this?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's a pretty neat fight though, but it's one of the only times in the game so far I've been like fucking annoyed. There's also another guy too I'm trying to get into. I forgot what the place is called, but it's like a capital. There's a like elite sentinel on a horse who has some fucking crazy magic. Okay. And I almost killed him as well. So I'm like right on the cusp of getting past both these parts, but he's fucking rough too. Because his horse shoots fireballs at me while he's shooting lightning at me. And if you get close, he just fucking goes nuts with his sword while he's on the horse.
Gotcha.
And it's rough.
Yeah, I'm only like 30 hours in, and I've spent a lot of time just in the beginning area. So
Oh, dude, I should be further than I am, but I'm not even doing it to like grind. I'm doing it because I fucking love exploring this game.
Yeah,
it's so it's outside of like the choices you would get in a game that's like an Elder Scrolls game. It's far superior in its exploration than almost any game I've played that's open world. Its open world is worth exploring. I was talking to a coworker about this. A lot of these open world games, I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to level up so I can fulfill my perks and use all my skill points and get my build made. This game, it's only supplementing your amount of damage you can do and amount of hits you can take and stamina and stuff like that. But the real thing I'm doing in this game is like exploring to find new cool gear, because there's so much armor and so many weapons in this game and so many cool things to find and unique items that like once you find it, you're like, what the fuck's this do? And they have their own moves sometimes, or they have moves you can put on there. There's elements you can put on your weapons. You can really make fucking some really cool builds in this game. The dungeons are awesome. Some of them are like short and sweet, which I love, because not everything needs to be some big fucking epic thing. And then sometimes they're deceptively larger than you thought they were. I just did a dungeon recently that's like multiple floors that all look the same, but you're teleporting between all of them, so you start getting confused on where the fuck you are. It's like a maze. It was like really neat. Just I absolutely just love exploring this game. Torrent's also a really cool addition to the Souls formula. The horse combat is fucking awesome. Some bosses are like way easier to fight on your horse. The mobility and the double jump is like so fucking nice.
I'm always in co-op though, so I don't get to use it.
Yeah. It's just a really cool addition. It feels so natural too to the formula. But like I like being on foot too, because like this game you can like really overlook some shit. There are places I've been to like 10 times, and I'll get on foot and I'm walking through some ruins, and like right around the corner I'm like, oh, there's a fucking bonfire here. I had no idea.
Dude, sometimes that's such a relief though.
Sure, but I'm saying like I've traveled through this area multiple times.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
thought to like find a bonfire there, and then I find one. I'm like, how'd they hide that so
Well,
easily
and you know, it's funny too,
in
because
plain sight?
Chris was playing with me one time, and I had a bonfire. I was like, hey, meet me at blah, blah, blah. He's like, I don't have that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, go here, and I'll just show you where it's at then. And went over there. He's like, oh, yeah. I walked right past that, apparently.
Yeah, aside, man, my camera, looking at both of us with glasses on, is having problems with the focus.
Oh, yeah.
I should probably manually focus it, but fuck it.
Pop my hat up, see if it helps.
Outside of all the people I know who are like looking up everything on YouTube and watching videos, which is fine. You bought the game, play it how you want. But outside of them, people who are just like organically exploring the game, everybody's like finding things differently or progressing differently, which is so fucking neat. They like in a game that lacks like narrative choice, it has so much playable choice. The game is pure gameplay. In the best way possible. The combat is hard but fair for the most part. Sometimes the camera does Souls things.
Yeah, I've been Soulsborne camera fucked a couple times.
I've like rolled back into it, and like a candlestick makes my camera go up, like fucking might as well be upside down. I'm like, I can't see, and I'm getting hit. I'm like, oh my god. I don't know. I'm just like so impressed with this game because it's like so much more than I thought it was going to be, and there's so much to do in it. It's overwhelming. I kind of have completed a couple zones, and I still find shit in those places sometimes.
Yeah.
Also, the I forgot what it's called. It's like a potion that you can add 2 properties to.
Oh yeah.
And that system's fucking dope.
I just got that.
When I discovered that, I was like, holy shit, you can like alter the way you play with this as well.
Yeah, I need to find some more whatever they're called.
Erd trees.
Is that where you get
minor
them?
Erd trees? Yeah, they're on the map. Any tree will have like a Erd tree guy.
Oh yeah, Chris took me to one of them.
Yeah, and when you defeat them, they give 2
Okay.
elements.
I don't think there was a boss at the first tree we went to.
I mean, maybe not. I've been to like 1 or 2 that weren't exactly like the other ones, but most of them all just have like a big tree guy they fight.
Because I think Chris was like, be careful going around the tree. And I was like, okay. So, and then there was just the thing there, and he's like, oh, no, that's it right there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So,
yeah. It's a really cool system though. Like it's just like they took the formula and they expanded it in the best way possible, and they added all these cool little systems to just make it just a little more deeper. And then with these side quests that you can do that are pretty expansive, and they don't hold your hand at all. Like you find a sheet of paper, and the chick's like, yeah, read the paper and just follow the instructions on there, and then come back to me. I'm like, okay. And I read it. It's like, go to this region and find this guy. I'm like, okay. And there's nothing pointing me in the direction. She's like, go over there and find him. I'm like, okay. Or if you kill a character, it's like, well, if you had a quest line, you ain't fucking doing it this playthrough. So in a weird way, it has like choices you can make, or like, you know, a character you look at and like he might be cool, be like, I want your weapon, And so you kill him, and they're like, now you can't get the armor that he gives you in a mission. So it's like all these weird fucking choices you have to make.
Yeah. Well, and they also have the, what's that called? Basically like pray away your sins or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it'll respawn NPCs as well, which I think is kind of neat.
Which is,
you might accidentally fuck
which
up.
is welcome, because like in prior games, you know, you would kill a character and that was your playthrough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot that they added that in this, because I have talked to that person. I just haven't used them, so I was like, is this what I think it is? It's just the design is so well done, and constantly I'm just like coming around a corner of anything, and I just look out and I'm like, what is all that? What does all this do? There's always just mystery and adventure. And yeah, the From Software pedigree of like map design is fucking 10 times in this. Like back in the day when I'm like, it's crazy, you can go down this way and then you go down this hallway and you're like, where does this go? And you go on this whole fucking adventure and then you open a door and you're back where you were earlier and you're like, how'd I get back here? This whole game's that.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you first go to Stormvale Castle, or what the fuck it's called, that's just a level for that. Like, that's just a section of a Dark Souls game.
That could have been a whole section. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I like went up and had this whole adventure getting over the wall of the castle, because you can't go through the front door of it, which is just a cool idea.
You can.
Yeah. And then I come over, like crest the fucking wall, and I'm looking, and I'm like, this is like a whole castle that I have to go through. And then you have this whole ass adventure. I forget the outer world even exists. I'm like, I'm playing a Dark Souls game. And then when you finish it, you come back out and you're like, oh yeah, this is an open world.
Yeah.
There's other places like this.
Those two bosses were just
like this
three
own
bosses,
isolated story. Somebody explained it really well. They're saying that this game feels like From Software's Disneyland. You're like, I'm going to go to the Bloodborne world.
It is 100% a theme park.
They're like, I'm going to go to the Dark Souls section and all this shit. Because even when I went to the Academy, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Bloodborne.
I know I went to one section where it looked like a swamp, but the water was like red or something like that.
Yeah, Red Rod, or what the fuck it's called.
Yeah, and I grabbed the Grace that was out there, and there's like a little like, you just go around the corner and there's like just a circle place. Like, oh, okay, it's a boss arena. Mm-hmm. And you go in, there's the guy with, I think he has a lance and he summons like ads constantly through the fight too. Anyways, I remember going there and just like this place looks completely different, and there's all these like little broken down ruins all over the place, and like some of them had chests and some of them were just like filled with guys who didn't want to get close to you and wanted to do ranged attacks where you're stuck in the muck. And then then going and finding that boss and like doing that, I was just like, this is insane. Like I could have just walked right past this and probably been fine, but you know, because I decided to walk out here and just go ahead and try to walk through all this garbage, there's rewards out here to be had. So yeah, I don't know, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's legit one of the best open world designs I've seen in a game.
Yeah.
Just the way they've designed it, in a sense that like your own curiosity drives where you're going, and finding these things and having these adventures that somebody might not have had unless they're watching all the YouTube videos. And I like that the bonfires point you in the direction of the main stuff to do. So like when people are like, I don't know what to do, it's like, well, just look at the bonfire and follow those.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to beat the game, you can do that. And also,
hopefully you're high skilled at that point if you're not, if you're just beelining it.
And you know, there's ways to make it easier. You know, you can summon both a like familiar and oftentimes an NPC.
I don't even like saying it's a way to make it easier, though. I mean, those are accessibility options, but the game openly offers those. It's not even a secret. They want you to use your summons.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like the ability to it is an ability to make the fights significantly easier because now there's multiple targets for aggro. So I'm sure a lot of people just run in and don't even think about it. Yeah, and they're like, "Why is it so hard?" Well, you didn't look around. So.
Well, either I think it was Margit I fought without the fucking NPC. Because one of the two in Stormvale, I didn't use an NPC.
I think it's Godric that you get the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I fucked that up though because I summoned her twice and she never came back. And when I summoned her twice, I didn't even fight Godric. I went and I was grinding, and she was running around with me until she would die. And then after 2 times, she didn't come back. And I was like, fuck, okay, well, I guess I got to fight him.
I used her a bunch.
But I did summon my jellyfish guy when I fought Godric.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had Chris with me and that NPC with me.
Yeah,
so,
when me and Sarah did it, when I was playing on hers, it was me, her, and the Amazon chick.
Yeah.
But I was fully planning on bringing her with me, but then she just didn't. Her thing didn't come back. And I was like, uh-oh.
That's kind of like when we did that one mine shaft with Sarah, and for some reason she didn't get the stones. So
yeah, which is I'm still annoyed by.
Yeah, it's really weird
because those are just like free fucking smithing stones, and she just didn't get any of them. You can later in the game you can just buy them, but still those are still smithing stones she wouldn't have had to buy
for sure.
It's like upgrades she wouldn't have had. Yeah, exactly, 100%.
I mean, from my perspective though, to just kind of talk about the game real quick.
Yeah, I could just gush about it.
I don't play open world games. They're really difficult for me to play. I also don't play Souls games because they're very difficult for me to play, and those are still true. But I am playing this game surely out of the desire to want to play the game because, like we said already, it's just really well made visually, and just that one of the few times I've played a game where like exploring it is rewarding feeling. And not always bosses. Sometimes it's just like a random chest or something, or some NPC. I was walking by a bush that was talking to me all of a sudden, and I whacked it, and it was a spell on the guy, and then he had like his own whole thing to say. So I was just like, this
interesting.
This is really neat.
I ran into that.
So
I ran by a tree bush area though where I heard somebody singing. I couldn't find who it was.
And this was a guy like, he's like, I know you see me, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't see you. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then I noticed one bush was different color than the rest of them, and I just swung at it, and it turned into fog, and all of a sudden there's this weird little like goblin dude there.
Just like there's this like just normal NPC that is hanging out with a sword and a torch down in the south area, and the Weeping Peninsula, I think it's called. And when you hit him, he turns into a bear. And if you haven't ran into those kind of bears over in the east, it's quite the surprise because it's a very aggressive bear. And it's funny, it's just a normal NPC. And you hit him and it just turns into that.
Oh, interesting.
So the game's full of all these fucking surprises.
I did fight one bear, and it was terrifying.
Like a normal bear or like the big bear with the long arms, the front long arms?
He was scratching a tree.
It was huge. Yeah. I think
he was scary.
Because there's like normal bears, and they're fucking easy.
Well, the baby bears or whatever.
Well, I call them normal bears because it's about the size of a bear.
I just assume they're the babies.
Yeah. The big ones, though, those things are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like, goddamn, look like a little bear on steroids, dude.
Also, like, the scale's crazy, too, because, like, fighting the dragon from the trailer. That whole area is just your arena with that thing, and it will like climb and walk down cliff sides and stuff like that, and you're like, I have to fight this thing. Like, it's wild, man.
Yeah, there's been multiple fights where I'm like, as soon as the fight starts, I'm like, I have to fight that. And then like after I beat it, I'm like, holy shit, that's such good design.
Well, it's funny too, because after we did it a couple times and we finally beat it, I was like looking around, the landscape was completely destroyed from the dragon just landing everywhere and breaking all the trees and stuff. And I was just like, holy crap, that was like one of the coolest like looking fights I've done. Like, this is like, it was so impressive to just watch the fight happen while I was doing it.
That is one of the things that is genius about the design of all their games, is like they put you in these situations that seem like fucking impossible. You're like, I can't fucking fight that.
Yeah.
And then you beat it and you're like, I fucking killed that thing, dude. And it's like, that's designed like that on purpose. It wasn't a fluke that you beat it or that you felt like you couldn't fucking
I've
fight
only really
it.
even seen that in like maybe God of War, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's such a From Software thing. When people complain about their difficulty, and it's like, they're really not as hard as you think they are. They just fucking psych you out. And you're just playing into that. There are hard bosses, but all you have to do, like in any game ever where you level up, is just go grind a little bit if you're having an issue.
Pay attention to patterns.
It's a game like anything. Yeah, but even then, like if I level up high enough, I went back and fought fucking Margit with Sarah, and I had played quite a bit since the first time I fought him, and to fight him where I was at, where he was hitting me and taking little chunks of damage off of me, and I was taking huge chunks of damage to him, I was like, this guy fucking deserves this. I was like, this is fucking a long time coming, Margit.
I've seen some clips of people who just go in and just let the boss hit them while they just melt him down real quick. So
yeah, that's what I felt like I was almost doing. I mean, I was trying to dodge because I don't like letting anyone hit me, but when he did, it was not an emergency.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying?
I mean, I'm not going to go too much more into it. It is a fantastic experience for sure. I have my own personal problems. One of those is I want to play the game like purely co-op, and in typical Souls fashion, you have to jump through hoops for that. They have made it easier, but
yeah, it's pretty simple now.
I really hate that if a boss has been killed, you can't play with each other in that area anymore, which is really dumb, I think. And then the fact that it sections you off, I think, is also kind of silly. Like, just let them. I'm literally going to tell them to leave. I'm going to walk 2 feet. And I'm going to resummon them. Why do I have to do this? It seems such like an extra step.
It is an extra step. One thing I was thinking though is if somebody made a different decision in that zone than you did, and they summon you into it or whatever, that might be to load their game's choices and NPCs and stuff like that. It might be.
I don't think it affects the Spectre though.
The Spectre.
The person you're summoning to help you.
No, I know, but like if you're playing and you're like there's a character, an NPC that you talked to earlier that's going to be there, or they killed that NPC, it might be a way that it's loading that individual instance for either of you.
Yeah, I feel like they could work that around.
Oh, they could. Anyone can, but fucking if they wanted to. But I do think it's more so just tradition. I think it's just how they have it set up, and because this is their first truly like open world Souls game, it's probably easier for them to think in chunks,
probably
fragments.
That still doesn't change. Like on a personal, perspective of it, I don't think the co-op makes a lot of sense in that regard. I honestly feel like they should just streamline that a little better. I don't mind summoning them in. That's whatever, and I don't mind them disappearing when they die. I think those are neat systems. I just think the barrier of like traveling with them is kind of annoying.
In a game where death is supposed to be an element of gameplay, I don't mind that if you die, it kicks you out because you don't even lose your fucking souls. So and
you can immediately resummon them.
So it's a punishment.
Yeah,
but it's not as unfair as it could be. So I don't care. But I do agree. Like if I beat the boss in that zone, I can't summon you in there anymore. I think it's kind of lame. Yeah. But I mean, whatever. If you're playing with somebody and you're kind of like taking turns and beating it on yours and beating on theirs, it works itself out. But if somebody's like far ahead of you, you're not coming into their game in a lot of areas, but they can come into yours.
Yeah, and I ran into that situation where I was going to be shown something and they couldn't summon me because they had beaten the boss. And I was like,
yeah,
okay. So I had to screen share instead so they could just watch my screen. Mm-hmm. It just seems I'd like to know what like the reasoning behind that would be, I guess, because like I can't think of a reason why you would do that.
I'm sure there is a specific reason we're not thinking of, but yeah, I also would like to know.
Yeah,
because I feel like there's got to be a specific reason why they're trying.
Other than that, like I think your password system for co-op and invasions and stuff like that makes sense to me. The getting kicked out after beating a boss, I'm fine with that too. I'll just resummon people, but for exploration purposes, just let me run around with people. Like
I think it's wild. There's no one-on-one invasions, which I only learned like 2 days ago. But people can invade groups, which seems really fucking weird. Because like
can duel people, so you can put your finger down in red, and people can summon you to duel.
Yeah, which is what I would expect because all the games really have the dueling system. But like the only being able to invade people if they're in groups is really weird because it's such a disadvantage outside of that you can plan an attack if you want to ambush them. But I've not lost an invasion yet, just because like for the most part my stamina is pretty good, so I outperform them a lot of times. But also like Sarah will be there and they have to focus on both of us, but a lot of the times I've fought them like one-on-one and still beat them. But like it's still weird to me that like their only option to fight me, and I don't even want to be invaded. If you invade me, I'm gonna fucking try and kill the shit out of you and get rid of you. But that they have to fight 2 people, I'm just like I don't feel like yeah, I kicked his ass. I'm just like, good, get the fuck out of here. and then I move on with my life because I'm in the middle of doing a mission or something. But it's still kind of weird that that's the option.
Yeah.
Because that's not a Souls thing typically. It's typically you can. I mean, Dark Souls 3 was so fucking intense that it was like, even if you're offline, we're gonna send NPCs after you, so you can't escape invasions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, because I don't want to be invaded. But I also love fucking killing somebody if they invade me. But that's just the natural competitive side of me. So
Well, I honestly, that leads me into my second issue with the game, which is I get that is in there, but I do think you should be able to opt out. And before someone comes in here with an ego about it,
no, but in our community,
I don't give a shit about PvP, man, like at all. Like any game,
oh, God, man,
I don't care if you win. I don't care if I win. Like it literally does not matter to me. So, I just want to play the game with my friend. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and if I wanted to fight, I'd opt in. Like, I mean, it's that simple, right? Hell, give me less runes for opting out. I'm fine with that. Like, punish me. That's fine. I just don't. Yeah, I just want to be able to play. Now, I still play it and I deal with the invasions, so that's fine. But I would prefer not to. Is all. I don't have any other complaints outside of that, though. I don't think the game should be easier. I actually appreciate the boss's scale when there's multiple people. I appreciate the fact that because I decided to play squishy ass mage, that if I look at something wrong, I die. I deserve that for the choices I made in the game. So, like, I think the design's really good. I think the bosses, though sometimes a little cheesy, feel good to beat. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm having fun with it. I want to play it more. I have a feeling it's going to be a game that's going to be... first off, I know how long it is if you play it the way a lot of people have been playing it. And then secondly, they do DLC for their games always with, like, more content. So, like, I'm kind of thinking this game's going to be an all-year game.
Yeah, that's what everyone I'm talking to, I just keep going like, this is going to... That's why I brought up Skyrim. I'm not bringing it up because they're similar, because they're open worlds. I'm bringing it up because when Skyrim came out, it was a phenomenon. Yeah. Even though I'm not the biggest Skyrim fan, but people who weren't even into video games are talking about Skyrim. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Elden Ring who don't know shit about fucking Souls games. Whatever, they can play whatever they want. But, like, also, I feel like people have been playing this game all year.
Yeah.
There's so much content, and, like, they were really hush-hush about the fucking length of this game. When they said you could beat it in a certain amount of time, yeah, you could.
I think someone today beat it in under 2 hours.
Yeah, 2.5, something like that, yeah. But who cares? Like, fucking, even at, like, 30, 40 hours, most people aren't beating it that quickly.
I've beaten 2 bosses in 30 hours.
A bunch of people I am hearing are beating it in, like, 100 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, too.
Take that as you will. Some people are like, that's too long. It shouldn't have to take you that long. And whatever, I agree to a certain extent. But also, I'm thoroughly enjoying the game. So I'm not going to complain about good content. This isn't a cookie cutter fucking, and I don't want to say Ubisoft open world game. Everyone keeps talking about Ubisoft. That's fucking open world games in general. They're all very similar. And there's really good ones, and there's really meh ones, and most of them are fun enough. But this game... is owning its own thing that From Software is really good at in an open world format, and they've backed it up with a shitload of really good content. So this is one of the times where I'm like, yeah, I could see myself putting a lot of time into this game over time and returning to it because it's just a solid game. There's so much to it.
Oh, for sure. I also think as long as the Soulsborne community themselves don't gatekeep too much, you're going to end up with a lot more players because, to my knowledge, Dark Souls 3, as an example, I think sold like 1.2 million copies or something like that, like early on. And then on Steam alone, the concurrent players have been anywhere from, in the slow times, 500,000, but at peak it was like 938,000 people playing at one time. That's on one platform. It sold, most of its copies were sold on PlayStation. Like over 50% of them were. And Steam's is that high? How many people bought this game? Millions.
Yeah, I was telling somebody that they need, somebody was talking about how the game needs to be easier so they get more people to play it. I'm like, From Software's not having any issue selling this game.
It sold easily 4 times as much as Dark Souls 3.
They haven't been making this formula of game since Demon Souls nonstop and not selling it more and more and more.
Yeah, I'm pretty
it's
sure
working out for them, and their fan base is dedicated to them because they do make these games. It's not a good argument.
Yeah, I think originally Bandai Namco was like projecting 4 million. I'm pretty sure they blew that out of the water. So.
Oh, dude, probably. I knew this game was going to sell more than any other Souls game, but like just playing it too, I'm like, this is just a really good game, though. It's going to sell even more than I thought.
And the word of mouth is going to keep selling.
Yeah, because everybody keeps fucking talking. I checked my rare occasion of checking TikTok. I had a bunch of fucking Elden Ring fucking TikToks. I was like, I almost never see gameplay.
That and my Twitter, it's completely full.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Twitter discussion on Elden Ring because everybody's either acting like they're babies who've never played a video game before and they're just so confused about Elden Ring, or they're trying to explain Elden Ring to people like they don't understand basic things, or they're doing gatekeeping shit. And it's just like, it's exhausting. Just talk about the game. If you like it, you don't like it. But there doesn't need to be this like meta conversation about like what it is to play Elden Ring. I fucking hate it. It's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, they made their money.
Yeah, no, it sold a lot, and a lot of people are fucking playing it.
So yeah, when I have weird server stuff, I kind of just suspect there's just too many people playing it right now.
Yeah.
So, because I have had weird server things with this game a couple times now. They end up stopping after I play for long enough, but yeah, like bloodstains won't work sometimes. I'm like, that's weird, and then all of a sudden they start working.
I've had them fucking work when I didn't even try to activate them.
Oh, weird.
Just a red dude comes running through. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then like I can tell he's gonna die. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
That's the wrong game to just have some random fucking red guy just show up. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Well, it's funny too because like I'll have like Chris as an example try to connect to my game, and within a second he'll disconnect, and then he'll connect again, and then he'll disconnect, and all of a sudden like the third time, we play until he dies or I die.
I have connection issues with Sarah when she hosts.
I do think there's some networking.
Not rarely.
Yeah, I think that's a networking issue in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do think the game also has some small issues because, yeah, after a while, it seems to like just stop. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, otherwise having a good time. I was going to play it today, but we ended up filming, which is totally fine, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, we pushed this back far enough, and finally with the state of play, I'm like, oh, that's what we're gonna watch.
Yeah. But this is gonna be a lengthy taste cast at this point, so I'm gonna wrap it up with saying, as someone who doesn't play these games usually, and has always appreciated them, I am actually playing one now. So
yeah,
take that for what you will.
I'm gonna wrap this up by saying Elden Ring is easily game of the year so far. I don't see anybody making a better game than it this year. I'd love to be surprised. Maybe Ghostwire Tokyo will be really fucking good. I have a feeling it's going to be in my top 3.
God of War's probably coming out this year.
But if God of War does come out, I think it's the only thing that can maybe sway me away from it. But Elden Ring is like really fucking good. Like I don't even like to overhype shit, but like it's really good. It's a really good game, and fucking it deserves all the praise it's getting. It's fucking, I'm loving it.
And all the jealous devs.
Yeah, and you're talking about its UI, and I'm like, not every game needs a fucking hold your hand UI. Its UI is just fine. I love it. Like, fucking don't worry about it. I won't even defend it. I like it. So like, I don't even fucking, I don't even respect the opinion. I don't care. Like, fucking, if that's your opinion, whatever. But yeah, it's really good. It's game of the year for me so far, easily. Yeah, so don't be surprised at the end of the year if I say it's my game of the year. It's I played it and I was like, oh god, like this is really fucking good. So way better than I thought it was gonna be.
I agree with that statement. I wasn't gonna buy it.
Well, yeah, I convinced you because I was like, I'll play it with you. Fucking the co-op's not that bad to do.
I got a few bosses I need to beat too, so maybe I can get you and Sarah to come in and play with me. So
gladly. Yeah. I'm just right now grinding anyway. I'm trying to fucking hit level 100. I think max level is like 755 or some shit I read somewhere.
think it was pretty high in the last games too. So.
Yeah. Well, somebody told me it was like 100. I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
Like, there's no fucking way. I'm 80 something. There's no way.
I'm
like,
50.
Yeah.
So
Like, no fucking way. I watched a video. One of the videos I saw on TikTok was like a level 160 or level 188 versus level 60 character. And I'm like, well, I don't know how that's going to go. But like this guy's just standing there and this other dude's just looking at him in the woods and he's like strafing around shit. He's shooting stuff. The guy's just dodging his stuff he's shooting. And then he starts running at him and he just like fucking summons this dragon head and fucking just blew fire everywhere and killed the guy in one shot. And I was like,
I've been killed by dragon breath.
I was like, I don't know what you're trying to prove here, dude. The numbers alone dictate that that guy can't win. Like,
unless they're really just fucking that good.
yeah, that'd be impressive.
Yeah.
But that one, whoever's like 100 something versus a 60 should be able to just one shot that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was funny to watch, especially because like I've fought people. I've done quite a few invasions already, like where people have invaded our game, and like I'll always like size them up like they're doing with me and shit, and then like I'll fucking test them real quick to see how good they are, and then I'll recover, and then I'll fucking hop in there and fucking fight him. And for some of the guys, I'm like, that guy's either new or wasn't really feeling too confident because he's all over the place. And some dudes are like pretty good.
Some of them are probably just doing it because there's a quest that makes you do a couple.
Yeah, 5 invasions.
FYI, you can just, I haven't done it yet, but it was, online. If you don't want to actually finish the invasion, you can just invade and then cut your tie.
It doesn't matter if you win or lose.
You don't even have to fight. You can just leave.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it. I kind of want to invade some people, but I hate the idea that I have to invade groups of people. But I guess it's paying it forward considering every time I get invaded, it's me and Sarah. So.
Yeah, well, and you get the advantage of you can literally run into a pack of mobs and they won't even know you exist. So if you want to try to bait them into a trap, you can.
Yeah, I would wait for them because like if somebody tried to do that to me, there's no way I would go to them.
No.
Every time someone invades me, I'm like, as soon as like you're being invaded, I'm like, we're being invaded, let's go. And then like I'll just like find like a room with like one entrance. Yeah, I like try and find the location as quick as possible because I'm like, I'm not fighting on their fucking terms. You're in my world. Like fucking, you gotta come to me.
As a caster, I prefer to fight in the open.
I don't. I want to be up close. Yeah. Like I saw run to a building and like I'm just in the doorway and they'll be like looking at me and then they'll like make gestures. I'm like, no, you have to come in here. And then fucking they'll run in. I'll fucking start swinging on shit. I had this guy do the blood fucking sheath move on Sarah one time and almost one-shotted her. And I instantly got annoyed. I was like, you motherfucker. I ran up. I started fucking using my sheath. I'm going boom, boom. And he'd go to do his blood sheath thing at me. And I fucking hit him faster than he could do it. And I was like, that guy was trying to fucking just come in here and one-shot people. Fuck you.
I had one guy come in and try to do the laser beam move to me. And I saw it charge, like, nope, I've seen that online. I instantly went to the right and it clipped my shoulder. It hit me a little bit, but I got out of it. And all of a sudden, Chris gets behind him.
This one dude showed up and we were on the side wall of Stormvale Castle. And I was like, I'm not fighting him on the edge of the fucking castle. So I ran to a room that had this thin little path over a fucking huge hole. And then there's a floorboard area we could stand on. And then the doorway, and he showed up at the doorway, and he just kept like doing like little gestures at me, and every once in a while I'd fucking just throw a fucking throwing knife at him, and he was just stand there, and he like rolled in at one point. I fucking swung at him, rolled back out. He did some more gestures. I'm like, I'm not fighting you out there, dude. You got to come in here. So he came in. Me and him start fucking rolling around and shit. I get a couple hits on him and stuff, and then he rolls backwards off a cliff, and I'm like, bye. And like he's like barely off the cliff. I'm like, let's go. And me and Sarah just like ran off. I was like, fuck that guy. I was like, should have paid attention to your surroundings, dude.
Say my favorite one I had was a non-confrontational one. The guy came in, I sat down, he just kind of looked at me and disconnected.
Yeah, he probably was looking for like a even fight. Yeah, I do respect some of the people who are into like, I guess like a honor code in dueling in that game, because like I think it was like the second or third time we got invaded. Me and Sarah were like standing there waiting for the guy, and I looked down and I could see him entering this courtyard, and like he's coming up the stairs. I'm like, here he comes, and Sarah's like behind me because she's more of a caster type, and he like ran up the stairs and he just stands there and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and no one's doing anything, and then he does a bow, and I'm like, okay, and like I start slowly walking to the right, start slowly walking to the left, and we're just kind of like looking at each other, and then we fucking both roll in and start swinging and shit. And eventually he like fell off the stairs, didn't die, but I almost had killed him. But I remember Sarah rolled in too, and they were like both almost dead. And I was like, get the fuck out of there. And she fucking rolled out of there, and he fell off the stairs. I'm like, he's going to be healed by the time he gets back up here, so just be ready. And fucking, I look down the stairs, and he's got a bubble shield around him. His health's back and shit. He's running back up. I'm like, all right, here we go. We ended up killing him, but I just thought it was funny. He showed up and like he didn't just like rush us, because the first guy invaded us. I still think is hilarious, because like these guys you got to be careful of. Anyone who's naked in these games is either really good or really not good.
Yeah.
And so like we're like running through a field after we got invaded, and we didn't see him for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck this guy's at. And then out in the distance, I see like a red. Or Sarah's like, there he is. And I like look over. And there's just like a red like little dot on the distance running across the field, and it just slowly turns in our direction, and he's just running at us, and he's just got a gigantic sword over his back, and he's just naked. And I was just like, this guy's gonna either be really good or not. Like he might just be joking, or he might be fucking so good he's trying to prove a point. And then like I swung at him, and I hit him like 3 or 4 times, and he didn't hit me, and I'm like, this guy's not good. And I was like, just rush him. And she started running at him, and I fucking ran and started hitting him and killed him really quickly. But as much as I hate being invaded, I play best when I feel under pressure. So that's why I play, games like Hunt and Arma and shit. So, but I also get really like mentally stressed out when shit like that happens. So I'm like, I gotta live. So it's fun. Anyway, we should probably move along. We've been talking about this a long time, but I feel like we should have this conversation, because we kind of have not had this conversation about Elden Ring yet. So it's great. It's fantastic. We're both really enjoying it. Somebody who wasn't really planning on playing it is liking it, and someone who thought it was going to be good but didn't think it was going to be this good is saying it's game of the year 100%. It's so good. So let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about Elden Ring? Are you guys playing it? Are you not playing it? If you're not playing, why aren't you playing it? If you are playing it, are you enjoying it? Is there things about it you like, things you don't like about it, things you'd like to see them add to it? Do you have some criticisms of it? And what are you playing as? You're playing as like a sorcerer. I'm playing as a dual-wielding, katana-using
Though I'm thinking about
dex
going
build.
half and half. Throw some faith spells in there, because there's some cool attack spells that I feel like should be wizard spells, and the clerics get them. So
Yeah, I know there's a katana later in the game I heard about that uses magic, but it shoots like fucking like blue like beams when you swing it, and I was like, I would like to have that, but I don't want to spec into magic.
yeah, there's a few swords in the game that are int based. There's also, I got a, what are they called? Great Rune, I think they're called, that I can use on any weapon and make it an intelligence weapon. So I can just use any weapon.
Interesting. Yeah, I love the multipliers, like the DE level scaling.
Yeah,
that you can see on the weapons.
You have an S and intelligence staff now. So
really,
yeah,
an S.
Yeah,
I don't have any of those.
But it
I'm still using the fucking
specifically works for gravity magic, so I've been just using a lot of gravity magic.
Yeah. So. Yeah, the game's really good about leaning into things like that. So. So yeah, that's Elden Ring. Is there anything else you want to mention that you've been playing?
Final Fantasy 14. We didn't have our normal raid group for a few weeks, and then even like last weekend, we had to bring in just random guy I've never played with before. They definitely had never raided before, but it was fine. It was a good opportunity to like teach someone how raiding works in the game, and they were actually playing White Mages in my main class, so I'd actually play something I was unfamiliar with as well. So a bunch of us got an opportunity to like play different jobs and try something else out for the raid. Needless to say, we were all kind of garbage, but it was fun. It was a learning experience for everybody, including the newbie. So I think we're going to try to do that again this Saturday, because our off tank is unavailable. So some roles switched around. So we're almost done with that fight like completely anyways. I'm the last I need a bracelet, and we'll never have touched that fight again. So
I still like to get some people together on a Lost Ark and do the Abyssal Dungeons and shit. But yeah, I'm not even stressing about it, because fucking like
it'll be there anyways.
Every time I'm like, I'm gonna play something else, and I start Elden Ring up. And I'm like, I'm gonna play something else, and I start Elden Ring up. Although I've been really good about playing GT7, because it has like a daily thing. It has a certain amount of miles it wants you to drive a day, depending on whatever. It's interesting. Like you just race and you start fulfilling your daily miles.
Interesting.
And so you get rewarded more for it. So I'll just kind of hop on. Plus, with my racing wheel, it's just a pleasure to drive cars in that game. It's so good.
Random thought from Soft. Missed opportunity with the crossplay on this though.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
They add the co-op, but they don't like, it's not a multiplayer game. Even though this, I would argue, is like it plays like a multiplayer game, but people don't view these games as multiplayer games.
I think that's the avenue where they could use the most improvement is in their multiplayer stuff.
Sure.
Because otherwise, game's fantastic.
I don't think there's a whole lot of improvement they could do on their formula. There's no one who does it like them. But like in every regard, they're really good at what they do. But and they do add multiplayer. Like it's like there's full features for multiplayer, a bunch of features to it, but it's kind of weird. And yeah, it could be better.
Yeah, it always gets like a little better, a little.
Well, yeah, Josh tried to get me to play Dark Souls 3 with him co-op. I was like, I don't want to deal with all the fucking shit. And he's like, no, it's really easy now. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with it. And now I'm playing this. I'm like, I mean, this is pretty much like Dark Souls 3. I could have just did this in Dark Souls 3, and that's linear.
I said, Neo 2 has no bullshit co-op. Like, that's what I want to see. So.
Yeah, I never got to experience that. So that's a game I would like to try co-op. So. All right, anything else you're playing? Anything else about Final Fantasy 14?
Nope.
All right, let us know in the comments. What games have you guys been playing? What would you like to shout out? What would you recommend? And what would you like to not recommend? Maybe you played Babylon's Fall and you got opinions on that. Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. We can finally leave games we've been playing. We only played a couple games, but there's so much to be said about them because we have not talked about them since their release. Okay, so this might be what some of you came here for in the first place. Hopefully you skipped this point, and if you didn't, hopefully you enjoy the conversation if you're still here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
But we're gonna watch the State of Play. Typically we do a TLG reacts for this, but we haven't done a taste cast, so we're just doing mega casts today, I guess. But yeah, State of Play happened earlier today. Earlier yesterday, March 9th. And we haven't watched it, so we're gonna watch it. It's only 20 minutes, so it's a pretty short State of Play. I had two things spoiled for me for the most part. One spoiled only because like I know it exists, but I don't know anything about it, so I'm actually really curious to see what it is. But yeah, I'm really excited to watch this. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of speculation on what they're going to show here in 20 minutes. A lot of people were saying like Metal Gear was going to get shown, Silent Hill, all this shit, and I'm like, in a 20-minute State of Play,
I feel like I would have had that spoiled for me. So.
Yeah, 100%. So why no, they didn't show it because. For some reason, I always bring up Twitter, but this is where like most of the gaming conversation I see is outside of real life. Twitter's just been like constantly showing me Destin Legary's fucking tweets, the guy from IGN. He's just some guy, but he all day today, or anytime like I hopped on and like dodged any fucking gaming stuff, it would show his stuff. And he's just like, I can't believe people thought fucking Metal Gear was going to get shown. And so he's like saying that. I'm like, yeah. But they always do that. Every State of Play, people speculate. And he had like 5 tweets about it today. I'm like, you're talking about him more than anybody.
Bro, he's just trying to get that IGN attention.
Yeah, they all want that. But yeah, I bringing it back. I don't think we're gonna see anything like that in this. This is a 20-minute one. I feel like we're gonna see some indie games. We'll probably see some. I assume we're going to see Stranger of Paradise, considering I found out today that there's a demo. So I'm assuming it got announced here. Oh, yeah, nothing got fucking spoiled for me that I'm really excited about. But,
yeah, I didn't see anything, so.
Yeah. Huh? I actually forgot the State of Play was happening today for a second, and then I saw someone, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I stayed off Twitter all day. So.
No, it's good.
I was a little worried about YouTube because I do follow a couple people. Mm-hmm. But that did not happen. Your autoplay is on, by the way.
Autoplay?
Yep.
I don't turn that on.
Nope, it's a YouTube bug.
Fucking YouTube. So should we just watch this and find out what they show? Okay, this is State of Play, March 9th, 2022 in English. In 3, 2, 1, and go.
Hello, viewers. I am Ivy, the android.
What's up, Ivy?
I'd like to share today's dinosaur forecast. A dinosaur outbreak will soon occur. Residents in the affected area have been evacuated, and a team of exo-fighters has been dispatched. A vortex warning has been issued.
Exo-fighters?
Please remain indoors.
giant orb of demons falling out of it?
No, it's fucking. I saw a thing on it. Oh, I'll wait. Let's see the thing.
Wait, Capcom, is it Dino Crisis?
No.
Okay.
Although it has a redhead chick.
Fair.
I make a sense of this situation.
You've been living family with chief directors for 2 years.
All I wanted was to be IBS's top pilot.
IBS's latest dinosaur forecasts and exosuit technology were able to keep human casualties to 0.
No, this is EDF. This is Capcom's fucking EDF. It's goddamn bunch of people fighting groups of people fighting fucking groups of dinosaurs instead of bugs.
Interesting.
Meanwhile,
It looks cool.
IBS continues to recruit candidates to become new exoplanets.
I hate that they're falling out of the sky and they're just like
Greatest
ready to fucking destroy you.
I already really want to play this though. It looks like stupid fun.
Yeah, I mean it's missing that EDF charm, but it looks fun. Yeah.
I think they're looking at EDF. Somebody at Capcom's looking at EDF, and somebody was like,
Another exo.
you know, people really want a Dino Crisis. It's like, what if it was like EDF?
Welcome to IBS.
They're like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then fucking.
Oh, I saw that title on Twitter and I just completely didn't put two and two together.
And they're like, what if it was also like Lost Planet too? It's an amalgamation of EDF, Lost Planet, and fucking.
Of Exoprimal, a brand new IP from Capcom.
It looks neat.
I mean, at the very least, it looks fun.
It looks like dumb fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, let's
the idea of
hit some
shooting just
eye-popping
crowds
updates
of
for some
fucking
fan favorites
dinosaurs in
launching
these cool
soon.
Yeah.
exosuits.
We're getting more of this. This game literally comes out in like 15 days, guys.
Gotta advertise it, dude.
こいつは大勢の魂を借り集め、それを利用して冥界と現世をつなごうとしている。
Double subtitles.
あいつはこの先に一
I
体
know,
何を見
dude.
ているっていうのだ。
That's YouTube doing its own thing.
黄泉の国はまだ先だ。なんだか盛り上がってきたな。
Fuck, I'm so pumped for this game, dude.
こんなことが許されるはず。
Love it. This strip seems like it could be like a fucking manga or anime.
Dead? 体をよこせ。妹は助けてやる。終わらせるぞ。秋田。
The designs are just ridiculously good.
Yeah, no, I love it. Everything, visually, everything about this game I love.
I still, every time I see the Bungie thing, I just think Hunter x Hunter.
This game's gonna be sick. Especially coming off their last games, dude. Fucking Evil Within 2 is so good.
I just think
so
I
underrated.
want a Bethesda game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna buy it. I want to try out that demo. I gotta get that downloaded. But at this point, I just maybe we'll just wait for the game to come out, so I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's sad. The melody, I just started getting
Later today,
goosebumps.
visit PlayStation
In
Store to
Final
download a new
Final
demo
Fantasy
for
music's just
Stranger of
ingrained in my
Paradise,
blood at this
Final
point.
Fantasy Origin.
You see that Square
Now, let's jump into the world of
released,
Forspoken with some
music,
all-new
YouTube.
gameplay.
Them and Nintendo are both trying to find a way to give people their music, but also be in control of it. It's really weird.
Yeah, they need to fucking
Though Square just put all the music on Spotify.
bring themselves to modern times, dude.
Nintendo definitely. I think Square is. They're also like, doing other things too.
You know I'm a world changer.
I'm worried this game is just graphics, man. I want to know like what you're gonna do in it outside of these like spectacle fights they show randomly. But like, what else are you doing? Running fast in open fields. I mean, it's flashy.
I was like, it just has to be fun.
Yeah, if it's fun, I'm fucking. That's all I want.
I was like, visually, I'm definitely all in. It looks great in that regard.
I'm worried, and if this game comes out and just fuck people love it, that'd be great. That's cool. I'm just worried this game's gonna come out and people, it's not gonna be as good as people open.
Well, I was like, I'm not really seeing a lot of people talking about it in general, so.
Let's finish.
The effects are great though, but I mean, it's fucking, it's spraying it, so.
Yeah. It will be nice, as long as it doesn't get delayed 7,000 times like Final Fantasy 15 did, to see them just make a game with...
It did get delayed though.
Well, that
That was a
surprises
new
me.
look at the sprawling PS5 adventure
most games do these
Forspoken.
days.
A
From
lot of people are
Luminous
speculating it's
Productions.
because Babylon's Fall.
Let's check out
Well, I
some
think-
6v6
yeah, it got pushed
action
into
in Gundam Evolution,
quarter 3,
a
right?
fast-paced
And I think
multiplayer shooter
October.
coming to PS4
Yeah, and I
and
think people were
PS5 later
saying
this year.
they might have done it because they didn't have any games coming out in that quarter.
I think it's
For
better anyway. There's
stockholders.
too many games right
Yeah.
now. Just like release something later. That's fine.
Yeah.
Take your time. I don't give a fuck. This is a Gundam game. There's fucking first person.
Yeah, I heard about this one. I didn't see anything on it yet, but
It's interesting that there's Gundam games coming out.
there's a mech game that came out on Steam that has like amazing reviews. I'm kind of curious to pick it up. I can't remember the name right now, but it's like an amalgamation of a bunch of like mecha animes in one game.
Oh,
I
it's
heard
a
about this.
competitive game. Interesting.
Yeah. It's basically Overwatch. It's Gundam stuff.
It looks kind of cheap, but looks kind of cool.
I mean, the designs are pretty much on point.
Is
I'd
it
say.
gonna be free to play though? Because how many people are actually gonna buy this?
Answer that. I think in Japan, plenty of people.
Yeah. Just a game like this, I'm like, if like fucking not a whole lot of people buy it, it's not gonna last.
Yeah, but the investment's small too. Like, it doesn't look like it has a crazy budget or anything. So.
Looks kind of fun.
So, I mean, that's the thing. I'm gonna that other game though.
Yeah, I'm
I
curious.
think it's called Super Robot Wars or something like that.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I saw one guy streaming it, and then like out of curiosity, I checked it out on Steam, and the reviews are like, super high on it. Oils? Oh,
The old ones, dude?
No.
Those are so good.
Nightmare Fuel. Those are so hard.
Oh yeah.
Especially, oh shit, what was it? You like have to walk around on the map and then you go into different sewers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's for Nintendo.
Yeah, that one's so fucking hard.
It's fun. Games back then were just fucking. They were all Elden.
That was
Can't
just,
fucking talk.
that's just what it was, yeah.
People are complaining like, "This one's hard." I'm like, dude, all games were hard at one point. You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, it's just because the limitations
Yeah.
of game design.
They were just trying to
stuff
make
like
it
that.
work, dude.
Super Robot Wars 30. Okay, 90%. They're advertising it, obviously now,
What is this?
but is it like War of the Monsters style game?
Yeah, looks like a party brawler type game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this state of play is supposed to be focusing mostly on Japanese games, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Giga Bash.
I'll play it on PS Plus. We'll talk about it on Plus Club.
Probably.
Kaiju Brawler Giga Bash comes to PS4 and PS5.
That looks
later
kind of
this
fun.
year.
Not so. I don't want to spend money on it though.
Next,
Actually,
a
everything so
fan-favorite
far is
fighting
at
game makes
least
a
kind of
beautiful
fun.
and
Yeah.
bizarre return.
Pretty solid showing so far. Thank you.
って感じだわ。
JoJo.
ここで決着をつける。
I've only watched the first episode.
I need to watch it. It's like one of the most known animes in existence right now.
Yeah, it was like a meme for a little bit. Now it's just like it's like a cultural thing. Nobody fucking knows it. It's funny 'cause it's been out for a while, and it like picked up steam like the last couple years.
Yeah, when they essentially rebooted it into this art style.
So bizarre looking. And this looks weird too, because like they look like shiny and oily.
They did say it wasn't gameplay.
That's cool. They're getting a game though.
It'll sell.
Damn.
That's pretty insane.
You don't need that many fucking characters in a game. Holy shit, dude. What is this, fucking Smash Bros?
You don't.
Our next 2 games will take you beyond life and death.
Next 2? Okay. It's a weird setup. Oh, something yummy. I really want to play this. This is gonna be the next fucking Sifu. Oh shit, I played Sifu. And I never talked about it. It tastes best. Very curious. Sifu's really good.
I've never heard anyone say it wasn't.
I've only beaten the first boss, but it's I don't remember. Fucking it's really neat. I need to play it more. There's shown a lot like out of this world crazy looking shit in this.
Yeah.
I didn't know there's gonna be stuff like that in it. Track to Yomi. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Oh god.
Yes, I'm getting a little fidgety.
Trapped in an endless
Pinched
cycle.
fucking nerve is pissing me off.
Fighting.
Yeah, this is what I saw. I'm fucking stoked about this.
Dying. Returning.
Yeah, they're adding co-op.
Always the same.
But they're adding
Yet
co-op.
always
Oh,
changing.
interesting. You know what's really funny too? Is I will occasionally see someone talk about this game, like, this game, like, and they always have something positive to say about it.
Oh, it's really cool. It's fucking hard though. Yeah, it's a bullet hell.
Now
I'm just
I
stoked they're adding
stand
co-op. The game's a lot of
before
fun,
the
and I
endless
think it's gonna be
tower.
more fun with somebody else.
I climb as Sisyphus did, pushing the boulder upward.
There's a meme going around.
No matter how
Console
high I
worship. People
climb,
are like, it's amazing
the
Returnal's
challenge
releasing co-op before fucking
begins
Halo.
again.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently they're adding more enemy types and bosses
But I
and
fight
shit like
on
that too.
through
So, like,
the infinite,
but you're gonna be able to play the campaign and co-op.
seeking answers,
You know?
seeking
game's, like, super
ascension.
good looking.
Yeah, it's a quality game for sure. It's just
My
fucking
release
rough.
is within this tower, and I will find it.
Give me that near experience, dude. It's crazy they're supporting the game still, to be honest.
Housemarque is
I think
bringing
they
campaign
should, though,
co-op
'cause it
and a
was well
mysterious new
received.
survival mode to Returnal Ascension, a free update hitting
And
this
it's really
March.
making a name for them. So
Yeah.
Housemarque was already known before.
It's almost
but-
time to sign off, but before we do, let's get a first look at 2 brand new games coming from Square Enix.
First look.
Didn't they already show off 2 games? Jesus Christ.
Is
how
this
much
really
scrolling
what you
right
want?
now? I guess this is out, but
And you are certain that what we are doing is best for the people of the kingdom?
Yes. I suppose it would, in a sense. True. Yes. It made me wonder. Am I still that same person?
The era of myths gives way to an era of great turmoil. The continent was ravaged by the devastating war between the Empire and the Alliance. However, one nation remained unaffected by the chaos. The Kingdom of Alatane, Ward of the Orders, looked destined to have its soil stained with the blood of battle.
We've finally been called up. We're up against the Empire's main army.
What is this?
We are to eradicate every last Imperial who comes ashore. Keep focused.
Come on, everyone!
Some kind of strategy game.
And
It's
now
interesting.
you will die.
Still no fucking Final
really
Fantasy
have such a
Tactics. What the hell,
yearning
dude?
for war?
You're releasing all these
I
fucking
can't
strategy
comprehend
games.
it.
That was cool.
So then, what
This
shall
looks
we do
cool.
now?
It looks like an old fucking like
We're
PlayStation
going to
game,
retake it.
but modern.
This is our chance while they're all assembled. We should send our best and crush
They are
them.
flirting with strategy games, huh?
Yeah,
That's right. All the more reason to avoid bloodshed.
those Nvidia leaks haven't been wrong so far.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It also likely means that we're in
Especially when
danger.
they came out like, those aren't real. I forgot who said
I
that, but it was
suppose
like
it is
some
the
major
only way
company.
for
It's
us to
like, well, they
survive.
seem to be fucking lucky so far then.
Yeah.
Because those leaks said, is that Dealfield Chronicle?
It's like it is a brand new.
That's cool.
Good on them.
I'm glad Square Enix is like
Trying shit?
trying new stuff again, yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, they're gonna have some failures, but
You have to fail.
yeah. But then you're not gonna get the things that are good if you don't try. Some other strategy game, dude.
Wait. Show me someone else.
If the will to fight still
Is
lingers
this a
within
fucking Valkyria Chronicles
Then
game? Or
accept
not
my
Valkyria
offer.
Chronicles,
and join
oh shit, I've lost the name now. Way different.
Yeah, this looks okay.
Valkyries. Heed my
Gameplay
word.
looks like it could be janky.
Ragnarok tears our world asunder. All we hold precious lies on the brink of annihilation. Become my tool of intervention and save this world from doom.
Yep. Weird. I thought that fucking was a dead IP.
Yeah, it's weird.
Your efforts to remain undetected are lacking. Reveal yourself. Who are you?
That's all for today.
Some
We'll see you
fucking
soon with
person, dude.
another State of Play.
All right, that is that. What do we think?
I think it's weird that Square had like 4 games.
That was a Square Enix State of Play.
Yeah, pretty much.
And 1 Capcom game.
2 Capcom. Oh no, Bethesda was the other one. I don't know why every time I see Tokyo, I think it's a Capcom game.
Tokyo? Ghostwire?
Ghostwire, yeah.
I mean, it's Tango Gameworks, which is under Microsoft. But yeah, Bethesda
was the publisher.
Doing something. I don't fucking know.
Anyways, yeah, I think the whole presentation was actually fun. It's always nice to see a lot of how do I word this? A lot of the creative ideas that come out of Eastern gaming, and like this dinosaur game as an example. Obviously, like it does feel a lot like EDF, but that is also like an Eastern idea of a game as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I even like a lot of the games that you could say like were kind of cheesy looking. They're like a good kind of cheesy though. Like I honestly think that every game they showed, I can't think of one that I didn't think looked at least fun.
Intriguing cheesy.
Like I don't think I can say that about too many of the State of Plays, to be honest. Like there's usually something I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna touch that. I'd probably at least try everything here.
Yeah.
So it was a fun time. I wasn't in love with anything, but it was a good time.
Yeah, no real big bangers outside of Ghostwire Tokyo, but we've seen it.
Yes.
I honestly think this new dinosaur IP though is pretty big because like it's a Capcom game.
Yeah.
Capcom doesn't do like small scale games really. They make like 8 games and they're all like high end. And even though this is like ridiculous, I think the character models look pretty good. The dinosaurs look decent enough, but you have to realize they're rendering so many of these that they're going to be lower in quality
for sure.
But I mean, I'm down first off for Capcom to make any new IP because they're big. They're a big company. But also, you know, I'm definitely not bored of shooting a bunch of dinosaurs. I don't get a whole lot of opportunities with games. There's like 2.
I think one of them's on our list.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, Second Extinction.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. But like this is that on fucking crack and influenced by EDF, it seems. And a little bit of Lost Planet. Kind of reminds me of Lost Planet as well.
A little bit, especially like the mecha stuff.
Which is fucking fine because I love Lost Planet and I wish they'd make a new one. But yeah, that game is looking at the very least fun. It looks like it's gonna be a fun ass game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I pretty much agree though. I think this whole State of Play, even though there's no like giant banger, I think the whole thing was interesting. I wasn't bored at all. The 20 minutes flew by and we saw brand new games. They might not be like big AAA games, but I don't fucking want only AAA games. Like people will complain about that kind of shit. I'm like, dude, yeah, AAA games are good, but like they need to be like the big spectacles, the highest point of what gaming can do now. But like there's all sorts of size of devs and all sorts of shit. And like even that tactical game didn't look the best graphically, but like I kind of liked it. It looked kind of like a PlayStation game, but it's a tactical RPG. Fuck, I would love more of those, so I'm all for it. The Valkyrie game I wasn't super huge on, but I feel like that's one of those games that's either just gonna suck and I'm gonna forget about it, or you know, it's gonna be a hidden gem and you'll be able to appreciate it if you're into what they're doing. So whatever. The Gundam game is interesting. I hope it's free to play. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to have a fucking life. Ghostwire Tokyo, I'm already buying, so I'm all for it. But they showed me all sorts of new shit. Really excited for that. Again, Capcom game is fucking looking really cool. Exo something. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. Yeah, it's looking cool. Forspoken, I'm not like fucking. For some reason, there's something about it that seems slightly off, but the visuals are really good looking. The gameplay does look smooth and looks like it's going to be kind of crazy. I just would like to know what the gameplay loop of it's going to be. I definitely have a strong curiosity about it. Also, I remember hearing that it got delayed. We got that confirmed here, October 11th, I think they said, or something like that. So honestly, I'm very okay with that. I don't need another game right now, and that gives them time to polish shit up, and yeah, hopefully it launches well. The JoJo game, I'm not a JoJo fan. I might be at some point. Maybe we can watch that on TASTYFLIX and fucking review that. But I'm glad they're getting a fighting game. That's cool. And by they, I mean the community that enjoys JoJo. 50 characters is fucking insane. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Gigabash I'll enjoy on PlayStation Plus probably. I'm not going to buy it. But it doesn't look boring. It looks like it'd be a fun game.
No,
it's just whatever. Trek to Yomi I'm already sold on. It looked like more of what I want, and I'm really excited about Returnal getting an update 3.0. I mean, like, they're just upgrading this game. They listened to feedback with 2.0 and they added where you can save where you're at and leave, which is nice, especially on like an hour-long run. You don't have to just abandon it. The co-op is welcome because the game's difficult. I'm sure it'll still be difficult with 2 people, but the game's a really tight shooter on controller, and the bullhell nature of it, I feel like is going to be a lot of fun with another person. Plus, I think roguelikes are more fun multiplayer. I like roguelikes, but I think they're really fun with multiple people. It's fun to have these random runs with random properties and see how far you can get. Yeah, exactly. Risk of Rain 2 is so much fun, and it's really fun with people, especially with like different types of classes and stuff. I'm not a big roguelike guy, but I really like multiplayer roguelikes. I think the fucking Godfall is a roguelike in its tower mode, and I thought it was a lot of fun. So Returnal adding co-op, never expected it, and I love when I don't expect something and they give it to you. And it's going to be free, I assume. Okay. So very cool. And some of the stuff I saw when it got spoiled for me was talking about that they're adding like new enemies, new bosses, new all sorts of shit. So this seems like a hey, thanks for supporting our game update, which you fucking treat us well, I'll fucking support your shit. So it's a good exchange. And the Square Enix games, fucking the inner child in me seeing new Square Enix IPs gets excited. So seeing that they're making a new tactical RPG has me interested, but also has me hopeful that we'll get a Final Fantasy Tactics, but more importantly to me, a Front Mission. I don't think we're gonna get it, but I want it. I want it from Mission 5.
I didn't think they were going to ever make another Valkyrie game. They're doing that. It doesn't play like the other ones, but
yeah, it looks nothing like the older ones.
But the fact that they're even flirting with it is neat.
This is cool though, because this I mean, it's not the same, but like the menus and stuff kind of reminds me of Front Mission. So, God, I lost a lot of time to Front Mission. Such a good game. So anyway, really, really cool looking. Might not be great, but it's definitely piqued my interest. And yeah, overall, I think this was a good state of play. It's solid. If I was to grade it, I'd probably give it a really strong B+. Kind of give it an A-, but nothing that like really blew my mind. But across the board is really fucking good.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I do think the only thing that's missing was like just a wow moment.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, B+ as well. I'm gonna have to keep my eyes peeled on what was that, the Dio Fiend?
Dio Field.
Or whatever. Yeah, it's a strange name, but
is it Field or Fiend? Let's find out.
I don't know. I was very, very quickly skimming it. So
we have to know now for us, but also possibly anybody who's listening and cannot see this.
Dio Field.
The Dio
Chronicle.
Field Chronicle. It's just one chronicle. It's not many. It's a first.
It's also showing me that this year's not done with games. So
I gotta buy Chocobo GP. I already got a racing game. I already got to play, or I already played, but I probably will play more Sonic and Gran Turismo and now Chocobo stuff. So. On top of other things coming out. So, give me a reason to play my Switch, though. I got plenty of reasons. I got so many games on there that are great. Anything else you want to say on this?
No.
All right. Well, we both like this. Let us know in the comments what you think of the state of play. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you somewhere in the middle? Did it show anything that you're interested in? Anything you're excited for? Anything you got some details on? Maybe you read somewhere you want to let us know in the comments. Is there something that you would have rather saw? I'm sure there is. And if you were disappointed with this, what didn't you like about it? Let me know everything you're thinking about in the comments below. All right, it's that time where we reflect on past episodes and we read your comments. If you'd like your comment to be read for sure and be put to the front of the line, type in hashtag AskTLG on your comment. That way I will prioritize your comment and make sure it gets read. Otherwise, I read it random. So if your comment doesn't get read and you're like, dude, what the fuck? You didn't read my comment? Well, you should put hashtag AskTLG and I would read it for sure. Otherwise, I just kind of go. Especially ones that seem like they'd be, good for the show and stuff like that. So, so our first STLG is from Jeremy. It says, STLG, it's time to put aside Final Fantasy 14 for a little while. I'm so hyped. You gonna play on PC, play on PS5 so I can invade you for the multiplayer. You can play in co-op up to 3 players and can be invaded by 2 invader all at the same time. But when you're playing with other or being invaded, you cannot use your horse cow mount or spirit, and the PvP has changed quite a bit or quite a lot. So don't be surprised with all the new stuff. Well, Jeremy, we've played since then. That's how long it's been since this episode came out, but I'm glad you were able to fill us in on some info when I asked, because I had my speculations on the co-op and how it was going to work, and you had all the info, especially about horse cow. But yeah, thanks for the info. And let me know what you're thinking of it. I heard from you a little bit. So if you're playing Elden Ring, let me know what you think about it, Jeremy.
Definitely took a break from 14 because when I logged in, it had been a while since he logged in.
He's gone, dude. He's fucking gone. We got another one from Ryder saying, that's what I've been saying. I don't know what this Elon Ring shit is and why people are hyped for it. What did the studio behind it ever make? The Monster Hunter Diary and fucking The Adventure of Cookie and Cream. What am I even looking at? If this game collects an award, Jeff Keighley probably bent over for Disney or something. I don't know if I can say the D word, but I did. This game comes from nowhere, and a game that comes from nowhere is a game that goes nowhere. I know I got my eyes on Tokyo, on Miyoji, though, baby. Giddy and excitement for 100%ing Grisea no Kudamono, La Fruit de la Grigier. That
is a sentence.
Trustworthy studio, solid track record, never failed to deliver. Don't casualize their products. Holy shit. For journalists, so they can take it easy on doing their job. Peace. Yeah. I had insinuated in this episode that From Software was a little known studio making a game that you've never heard of, and I got the support I needed on that. Also, if you want a fun read the replies on this comment. Thank you, Jeremy and Ryder and Chevy and Maneki-Neko and everybody else who commented on that. We have to move on to the next one though, because we got a bunch of videos to reply to. So thank you for your comments. Let's see. We got one from Flapjack, Daddy Clap, Dummy Thick, Pancake Cheeks, No Syrup. Haven't said that in a little bit. Saying, I'm thoroughly enjoying my time back. Oh, this episode was is CD or Cyberpunk 2077 update 1.5 enough? We talked about the update, what it's bringing, and what we thought of it. And we also watched a video on Horizon Forbidden West's performance and Lost Ark impressions back when we were still playing that. Flapjack Daddy Clap, Dummy Thick, Pancake Cheeks, No Syrup says, I'm thoroughly enjoying my time back in Cyberpunk 2077 after my 1 year plus break from the game. I really noticed an innumerable number of changes and upgrades aside from finally getting the PS5 version that has me enjoying the game far more than I was originally. However, once tomorrow hits, I'm all in with Forbidden West. I'm so hyped. The drops of water on Aloy's face have me eye-gasming. Well, hopefully you are enjoying your time with Forbidden West. I also know you were playing Gran Turismo, so you'll have to let me know what you think of those. And I'm glad you're enjoying Cyberpunk. Luckily, I got to enjoy it before this update. I would like to play it after it, but I've been hearing a lot of people return to it and saying this is what the game should have been. So it's very good to hear And so I'm glad you're one of those people who's enjoying it after your break. Because I did the same thing. I played it when it first came out on PC. It had some minor issues, but so many of them that I was like, I'll just come back. I'm okay with waiting. And when I did, I enjoyed myself. So I'm sure it's even better now. So anything you want to say with that? All right. Well, thank you for the comment. Then let's see. We got one from Deep Idea 102, which I've pre-read this, and this is actually Salama, who I've been having issues reading their name, so they've changed their username. Deep Idea 102 says, out of topic, but I just finished Red Dead Redemption 2 today for the first time and decided to randomly search for a video about modded gameplay for Red Dead 2. I stumbled upon a bizarre piece of art titled Red Dead Redemption 2, The Modded Wacky West. It blew my mind and made my morning, honestly. If you never saw it, guys, you might do a reaction for it because it is too good to miss. I will note that and look it up and see if it's something we want to do for the show, but I've never heard of that, so I'll definitely look into it for sure. And then he continues saying, update, change my username from Zalama to my Twitch user for easy pronunciation. It is much easier for me, so thank you. I appreciate that, since I have been reading your comments pretty regularly. So thanks. And thank you for the comment. Anything you want to add with that?
I don't think there's anything I can add.
All right. TLG Chevmo, this guy says, I might have touched the like button, and you could too, and it'd be very appreciated. Hitting the like button helps this video get seen, which helps us a lot. So
apparently people liked that comment, which is really weird to me.
We appreciate it. I'll like it too. Let's see. Then we got Raiders 7528, or is that B? I can't read it.
It's too far away.
Yeah. They say Guillermo del Toro for BioShock film. I think that's actually a really good one. We're kind of speculating on a director for BioShock, and I had my, Denis Villeneuve's and Christopher Nolan's who would never touch a BioShock movie. But I think Guillermo del Toro would touch a BioShock movie, and I think he'd be good at it.
Yeah, it'd be super creepy if he made it.
Yeah, it'd be creepy. It'd have a lot of practical effects. He's done a lot of darker stuff. He does really good with like sets and like costume design and stuff like that. So I think that's a really good pick. I mean, it's not something I thought of, and as soon as I read it, I was like, there it is. That's a good one. So very good pick and very good comments. Thank you everybody for your comments. Moving on to the next video, we did our review of UFC 4 Planet Coaster Console Edition and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep for Plus Club. We got a good amount of views and a good conversation and a good amount of likes. Thanks for the likes on that video. Make sure to go check it out if you are curious. We got a couple comments. One of them from Jack Seller saying, fun video. We'll be watching these going forward. Borderlands didn't grab me at all, unfortunately, but I was hooked on Planet Coaster. Had been on my wish list for a while, so I'm so glad I held off. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, and I'm stoked you'll be watching moving forward. Hopefully we hear from you again on the next Plus Club or any video, really, if you're around for it. So yeah, that's really cool. And then, I get the Borderlands thing. I actually saw that a lot on Reddit. People were kind of meh about it. Planet Coaster also seemed to be kind of 50-50, but I think it is for a certain kind of person. And if 100%. It is, you're going to really like it. So you are I wouldn't say lucky, but I'm also glad you held off and got it, because it is a really worthwhile game. I did buy it on PC, and I do prefer to play it on there, but I was happy to play it on console and happy to see that it worked really well on console. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
it's a good time.
I was gonna keep playing. I'm like, I'll download it on PC, because like I don't want to invest this much time on the console version for me personally. So thank you for the comment. Next one we got is Javier Montiero saying, I found this from Reddit post. Glad I checked it out. I'm always looking for new places to listen to people talk about video games. So far I'm about 1/4 of the way through the video, so I like it enough to have not turned it off yet, but I do want to just kindly toss out that out there that this feels like it was recorded real early in the morning. It was. There's so very little energy and little personality coming through. I'd much rather a lack of personality than grating personality. So I'm not hating on any of you three, but it could be more engaging with a bit more character infused in your discussions. Is there more to this? Yep. Also describing the Tiny Tina DLC as being an advertisement and feeling gross because of that. That was a perfect description. I sort of recoiled a bit when I saw they were using a free game slot to shill a DLC to promote an upcoming game. I liked the DLC back in the day, but this made me lose yet even more interest in the Borderlands name. I agree with you with the last part, and I appreciate your constructive criticism because it doesn't come off like you're like talking shit. And you're even very specific about it. I would like to clarify a couple things, not be over defensive because, you know, your opinion is your opinion. We film at all sorts of different times, a lot of times, and a lot of time it's very late, and sometimes it's right after work too. So
it is 3:30 in the morning right now.
Yeah, it's 3:30 in the morning right now as we're recording. It is after work sometimes. If it's Monday through Friday, if we record, it's after work, so we're tired. It is all about the long conversation, though, and the details of the conversation. We also have different people on the show too that changes the dynamic of the conversation, stuff like that.
I was also in a different room.
Yeah. So all these different things. And I did respond to you, kind of explaining exactly what I'm saying, but I'm kind of throwing it out there as well. And I also want to show people that, you know, we take constructive criticism well. Like it doesn't even like it's fair. I want feedback. But
yeah, that wasn't even remotely insulting.
No. Yeah. I just read it, I'm like, that's interesting. And then they engaged with the conversation. So I mean that's cool. This is what I want. But yeah, I just want to kind of throw out there a lot of the dynamics of what's going on here. But, you know, really all we're here for is to have conversations about what we think about gaming, and we invite you guys to do the same thing. So I did encourage you to check out our other videos to possibly see if it is just a thing where you're like, you guys' personalities don't really work for me, or maybe it was just that episode that felt like it lacked energy. My energy does vary quite a bit. I can be pretty hyper sometimes, and other times I can be kind of out of it. So
I go from calm to extra calm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I love having Sarah on the show, but she is newer to the show, so we're still kind of working our dynamic, which happens over time. We've had plenty of people on the show, and that always takes a different amount of time for every different person. So
yeah, for sure.
If you want more energy too, we've had episodes where we have like 5 people on. The energy is typically a lot higher there because you kind of have to be a little higher energy to keep up with everything going on in that conversation. So, yeah. Thanks for the comment though, and I appreciate the feedback. And I'm glad you're glad you checked it out. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's see. Psycho. Psycho Scream says, played a crap ton of UFC 4, really liked it, didn't even remember about the other 2 games because of how much I played UFC 4. UFC 4 is fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how you have the time for that, though. You were playing the shit out of Lost Ark. And
dude's playing the shit out of everything.
Yeah. And he's playing the shit out of UFC 4, but it made sense, or makes sense. I enjoyed it.
Say, last I saw, or heard, I should say, or as soon as raiding was done in 14, I just heard Gran Turismo race starting noises.
Yeah, Psycho's competing with me on certain things. I was looking at a score, and there's a couple of people, but it's always me and him in number 1.
I feel like he would be competitive.
Oh, I've played other games where I saw my score was higher than his, and then all of a sudden his was over mine, and I was like, uh-oh.
Well, even
came back.
When we
came
talk
back
about
fucking
raiding, all of us are usually like, we're just doing this, have fun, blah, blah. And Psycho's like, I need to win.
I've played COD with him, and me and him were fighting for first place. So, yeah. If he's on my team, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'll friendly compete for first place because that means
if you can play games with Josh, I love you, Josh. I imagine Psycho's probably pretty easy.
Josh is similar, but yeah,
he's aggressive, friendly.
Well, so am I. Yeah. So it works out for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad you liked UFC 4. I think it kind of surprised a lot of people on how much they enjoyed it. It wasn't the best thing ever, but it's definitely a fun time. Ryder says, I'm completely out of the loop with UFC games. Huge fan of the sport, but the games always look janky as fuck animation-wise. Could be fun mechanically, but it's sure not much to look at, in my opinion. I would definitely say check it out, see what you think of it. There's some pretty cool advanced systems they got going on. But they are kind of janky. It's an EA game, and EA games are not shy with the jank. So, but if you're a fan of the sport, definitely check it out. I think you might like it.
Also,
and then
also a little surprised that there was no like story written out for that. That was a very serious comment.
Yeah, that was just a straight comment. That's weird. Yeah, like how it's a story. He's writing stories out here, dude. No, yeah, that was just like a straight up like normal comment. I almost didn't like it as much as his other comments, dude. And then Sarah says, "Who that girl, and what's her socials?"
These are serious questions.
We will all find out. I don't know that girl. Thank you for the comments, everybody. Moving on to the next video, we talked about Elite Dangerous. We got 194 views on this, which really surprised me because first off, Game of the Month gets the least amount of views on the channel because it's kind of just us playing games that we are going to play.
Yeah.
Of course, we invite you guys to come and talk about it. That's the point. But like, this is our back burner game, so I don't expect somebody to play a game we've been wanting to play for like 4 years. And then Elite Dangerous. How many people are fucking playing Elite Dangerous? Like probably a lot. Anyway, that surprised me.
Yeah.
We got some interesting info from Mark Hackett. One of the comments he left, I think, was replying to Chevy when he was talking about the ships and their autopilot, saying, IRL, you sued the company for not being 100% accurate in steering you, and IRL doesn't have trolls trying to kill you for the lols. That is why Elite Dangerous doesn't have ships with autopilot. Imagine if the game planted you in a planet or sun or a rock. How about steering you into a ship? If they put autopilot in, you won't accept any errors because the loss is real. And then add in trolls because you don't actually die in this game. So trolls whose only reason to play is to make you annoyed or even just so they can imagine you are annoyed. That last part of the sentence really resonates with me because sometimes people think they piss someone off and that's enough for them. Doesn't matter if they actually piss them off. Just that in their mind that they think they piss someone off is enough fuel for them. I think these are interesting points to make for sure, especially in a game where you can lose stuff and you can have to pay for things to replace things. They actually would have to be good to be acceptable. And yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think that they could just make a really good autopilot in the game that doesn't do these things, but you are correct in, like, if something did happen with the autopilot and you lost something that you've been working hard for, you wouldn't accept it. You'd probably quit the game.
Sure.
So I get where you're coming from. It's an interesting point. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't
reply to you.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but I still think
you still want it.
I still think they could do it.
Yeah.
And as far as trolls go, I'm not saying you should autopilot and leave your computer. That's user beware, man. Like,
yeah.
Trolls. It's an online game. This isn't new. Like, trolls exist in all of them. If you care about your investment of time and all that stuff, you'll be around to babysit still. And if not, the blame's on yourself, not the company, for that or the other person. They're just playing the game too. So, but the wrecking stuff. I mean, obviously, if anyone's developing anything for a game, it should work, right?
Yeah.
So, if they make a bad autopilot system and runs into a sun or a rock, they did a shit job, and I complain about that too.
Bad development.
So, but I'm not saying that's a right or wrong thing. It's just I don't enjoy the act, but I'm also like, I don't care about the sim aspect that much, I guess. I just want to play it like a space game.
Yeah.
So
you just want to go around and do things.
So, and I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, it just kind of means it's not for me, and that's totally fine. I'm not bashing the game. I'm just saying preference-wise. So
I'm just glad he was able to offer an actual
for sure. It's perspective I didn't have.
Process on what that is. Yeah. Because when I read that, I'm like, oh, he's actually like offering like, between trolls and being responsible for your ship once you've allowed it autopilot. But I do think also a lot of games will drive your stuff for you, but a lot of games don't have like actual loss. So
and I would
it's hard to tackle.
I think there's a middle that could be had there too, because like with docking, for example, if you fly up to the station and then just engage in auto docking system. I've played space games that do it, so I know it works. And then,
well, they could just have a system too where like you can only use autopilot if you have insurance on the ship too.
Yeah, and even if the auto was just like I said in that, I believe was I don't like that you have to like maintain your camera position in order to warp somewhere. And that seems like a pretty easy fix to me.
I found myself, and if there's a better way to do this, let me know. If you got info, Mark or anybody else, let me know. But anytime I had to jump up to a place, I was like sitting in space just spinning around until I found my target, and then I would fly at it. And I was like, there should be a better way to do this. There should be some indicators at the very least tell me where the jump point's at.
Well, and if like for me, like even if it's just system by system, like I don't need it to baby me through the entire course I want to go, but like if I want to go from A to neighboring system B and I line it up and I hit the button, I shouldn't have to do any more adjustments. It should just go in that line. Just go.
Yeah.
So, but those are nitpicks.
Yeah, for sure.
So at the end of the day, realistically, I got enough stuff to play. I'm not probably coming back to it, and it's not the game's fault. It's my interests. So.
Yeah, your priorities are somewhere else.
Yep.
That's fucking so many games for me, so completely understand that. But thank you for the insight on perspective when it comes to that legit question we were discussing on the show. So I'm glad you had something to add to that because it did add some light to the conversation.
Yeah.
Maneki says, I was thinking of checking this out. I think it's on Game Pass PC. If it's on Game Pass, check it out, dude. Like, you got nothing to lose for sure. And if you want a game that you can like fucking live this experience, I think you'll probably dig it.
Yeah.
Especially, I know Maneki likes his music a lot because I follow him on Twitter, and it'd be a great game to fucking chill to some cool music for sure. So let me know if you checked it out or not, because it's been a little bit since you posted this. Or we posted and you commented. So thank you everybody for the comments. And moving on to the final video, which is the most recent video we did. Again, we reviewed Demon Slayer, the first episode of the first season. And we plan on doing every episode of the first season, at the very least, over on TASTYFLIX. So make sure to go down in the comments on this video and go over there and subscribe if you want to see our reviews of anime, movies, and TV. We're going to be doing a bunch of stuff.
Pretty crazy ratio on that one. Sorry.
What?
44 to 12. I mean, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is a preview, so you guys could see what we're doing over there. If you want to see the other 3 episodes, we filmed 3 or 4 episodes. So if you want to see those, go check them out over there. And if you're not watching Demon Slayer, you can start now, and then you can check in what we thought of it and see if you agree or disagree with us. Watch it alongside us as we go through, because it's my first time watching through the series, and this is not Chevy, so it's an interesting conversation to be had. Second Scream says the old kibosh comes back, and I said to you, the kibosh is never gone. It's always here. It can't come back if it's been here. It always makes its way back.
It has been a lifetime phrase. So.
TLG Shevmo says, Seth watching anime. I did. I watched some anime. We talked about it. Go check it out. We're going to watch more anime and more movies and do more reviews. Then we got another comment from Javier Montiero saying, I'm not much of an anime fan anymore, but once in a blue moon, an anime will catch my curiosity enough to compel me to try it. Happened with My Hero Academia, which I ended up liking, but not enough to keep up with. And Demon Slayer kept popping up on my radar, so I got a Crunchyroll trial and am now hooked. I blew through season 1 and am halfway through season 2. Shame it'll be a while until the next season, and the way the story is going, it'll be long running series, so I won't likely get my closure for years. But anyway, from someone who's regularly annoyed by anime, Demon Slayer has its hooks in me. A few contrivances here and there, like the main character is just Deku from My Hero. So many tired archetypes and anime staples, but still so damn good. Javier is full of all these fucking nuanced criticisms. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it as well. I mean, if you watch those episodes, you saw that I'm digging it. We discussed it at length over there on TASTYFLIX. It's cool to hear you're kind of in a same boat as me. I'm I like anime. I would never say that I'm not into anime. I grew up watching anime in the 90s and 2000s, and then I fell out of it. But I did also start getting annoyed with certain anime tropes, and some of them you just have to fucking accept. There's tropes in every culture and everything.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they're everywhere. But if you are just like beelining watching anime after anime after anime, you're going to start fucking zeroing in on a lot of those tropes that they really fucking do a lot. And so yeah, I agree with you. I get into with that shit too. But some of the tropes I like too. I mean, like I'll always enjoy the goofy hero who gets serious when shit hits the fan. It's a good archetype, but I do agree with you on that. It is cool to hear that Demon Slayer is one of the animes that has hooked you as somebody who I kind of identify with when it comes to your thoughts on this. Because I'm watching it and I'm digging it, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. Everybody's talking about Demon Slayer, and from somebody who wasn't watching at the time, I was like, that sounds like such a fucking generic name. It must be pretty good if they keep talking about it. My Hero Academia, I've only watched like 2 episodes of, so if I do start watching again, I'll do a TASTYFLIX thing on it. You watched that, right?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
Yeah.
But last season was hit or miss for people. I thought it was fine.
It seemed interesting. So I'd like to watch more of that. But yeah, I pretty much agree with you on, and I'm glad you like it. And yeah, I haven't watched the other one though to know enough if it is just Deku, but I'll.
They're very similar, like personality wise, for sure.
It kind of reminded me of him, but I haven't watched enough to really make that judgment. But I did watch like 2 or 3 episodes of My Hero Academia, and they do kind of seem similar, except for Tanjiro doesn't make that weird fucking face that Deku made in like the first like 2 or 3 episodes when he was like, it's like a flashback and he's a child.
Kid, he's freaking out at the computer.
He looks fucking nuts, and I'm just like, why is he like that?
I say My Hero is like, and Demon Slayer is to some degree as well, but they're just typical shonen. So
yeah, it's interesting though how shonen for a while there I was like, fuck, I'm like not into shonen at all anymore. Like, and now I'm like, it seems like they've found a new niche of like being able to carry on a lot of the trademark things that shonen was known for, but they feel like the quality's gone up again, and I don't know, there's something about them that's more interesting.
I think anime in general is on a pretty good
upswing
course right now.
Yeah. I would agree. Everything I see, I mean, for a while there it was like 2 animes people were watching.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's like I can't even keep up. Everybody's just like naming all these animes and shit. I'm like, God damn, it seems like anime's back.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things like Western audiences are gonna have a hard time with, like, the excessive use of fan service in a lot of shows and stuff like that. But
not me, dude. I don't give a fuck.
That's to each their own type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
As far as like Demon Slayer itself, I mean, the whole reason I kind of went with that is because when Seth said he wanted to do this idea, I've been trying to get him to watch anime for years.
I still got the time, dude.
Yeah, I decided that if we were gonna do it, I was gonna do one that I knew most people liked, and so I went with Demon Slayer as my hard suggestion. Like, this should be the one. And then I have a list I currently have of things I think he'd like,
and we're taking suggestions. Yeah. So definitely let us know if there's one you guys think I should watch or we should watch. And I was thinking Demon Slayer anyway, just because that's the one I hear about the most. So I feel like it'd be like a good starter anime to start the channel with, because a lot of people are gonna have already seen it. So like when we're talking about it in detail, full spoilers, people are just gonna know what we're talking about already, and just maybe be curious about what we thought of it, especially in our dynamic of somebody who hasn't seen it, someone who has seen it. So, and we have good conversations. So
yeah, and the only thing I feel sorry about is it is going to be spoiling, and it's going to be hard to watch action scenes in other animes later.
Yeah, that's
visually.
Fine. As long as the story's good, that's all I care about. I just appreciate the cherry on top with good animation. So
yeah, they like to flex every once in a while. It's kind of definitely, they're one of like the studios people talk about. Mappa's another one, and then I can't think right now. Anyways, there's a few of them out there that are really good. So.
Yeah. And the last comment is from TASTYFLIX, some random channel, saying subscribe here for more anime, movie, and TV content. Click that, go subscribe, and join the conversation over there as well. An extension of TLG. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
That was a long one.
Yeah, this was a long taste cast, but we needed to do it to catch up on all the things, all the games that we've been playing, all that shit. So let us know in the comments. Well, first off, thank you, everybody who commented. We appreciate your comments, and we enjoy having you guys join the conversation on the show.
And again, for when the constructive criticism, that is
yeah, for sure,
the way to do it. So
yep, it's appreciated. But here he is in another episode, so apparently stuck around. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of TasteCast, though. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on our socials and stream links down below. You can also check out our Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time down there. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us in audio form. And we have video on Spotify. It's a little bit of a headache, but I like having two forms of video. It's also nice if I'm listening to myself talk on Spotify, I can close my screen, because on YouTube I can't do that.
Need premium.
I don't want to. I already got Spotify. I can listen to it on there and watch it and make sure the episode's fine and there's no problems. And let's see, we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel. More than liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. If you're brand new, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new, so you can keep up with the videos we put out weekly, and hit the like button at the very least, because it really helps us out a lot. And yeah, my name is Seth. This has been Chevy. Thanks for joining me, Chevy. Mm-hmm. And stay tuned. We'll have more episodes out here and over on TastyFlix soon. Until then, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.